Networks welcomes you to Dover, Delaware, the capital of the first state to ratify the Constitution. That was back in 1787. We've come a long way since the horse and buggy days, and today the Grand National Busch Series cars will race in their 15th event of the season. Dover hosting Busch racing for the last 2 decades as we welcome you to Dover Downs International Speedway for the MBNA Platinum 200.
The nation's fastest family of networks welcomes you to Dover, Delaware, right in the center of the first state for today's MBNA Platinum 200, the 15th race in NASCAR's Busch Series for 2001. Qualifying was washed out, so the point standings will also be the front of the starting lineup, with Jeff Green and Kevin Harvick just 19 points back, sharing the front row. We're set to go racing under threatening skies, so let's go trackside to the editor of Speedway Illustrated, Dick Berggren.
Thanks, Mike. About half of practice was washed out, so every team in this field is just guessing on what the best setup might be for today's race. Now, many of the teams have gone back to last year's notes, but that probably isn't going to work. We have much more powerful engines this year, and it's a brand new tire as well. Some of the teams guessed that we were going to have rain and that qualifying would be washed out, and they spent a lot of time with their practice session and race trim. They may be the right ones. They may be the guys to beat. We'll find out in a minute. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Dick, the top 2 point chasers, Jeff Green and Kevin Harvick, start on the front row. Green and Harvick still seek their first career wins here on the Monster Mile, and both drivers spent Friday working in qualifying trim. While the advantage may go to Harvick, though, because his teammate Mike Skinner worked primarily in race trim all day on Friday, making long runs in an effort to put 1 of 2 RCR cars in victory lane. To Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, Greg Biffle and his crew chief Randy Goss won the Truck Series championship, moved up here to the Busch Series, and they've exceeded everybody's expectations. They've already won 2 races. They're 3rd in the points. They've led more laps than anybody. But Greg's crew chief, Randy Goss, is not here. He's at his daughter's high school graduation, Mike.
Thanks, Steve. The track is dry following a rainstorm after this morning's truck race. Let's go trackside for opening ceremonies.
Almighty God, we are eternally grateful for your goodness and for your greatness to us. We thank you this day for the great Dover Downs International Speedway, and we pray for today's race. We pray for the safety of all the drivers, the crews, the media, the fans, the officials, and we're so glad that we can celebrate this great sport, and we thank you. Amen. Shalom. Please remain standing as I present to you the Pontiac PR representative from Winston Cup, Mr. Al Larson, for the playing of our national anthem. Mr. Al Larson, tremendous job. Thank you.
We're now awaiting the introduction of the Grand Marshal and the command to get this race underway.
At this time, for the most famous words in racing, I present to you Miss Sarah Algina.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Job, Sarah. Her dad, Dave, is the head of MBNA's NASCAR driver credit card program. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dover. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds. This race will go by in the blink of an eye. It's only 200 miles around the concrete canyons of Dover Downs. But, Darrell, today, this is going to be a journey into the great unknown.
Well, here's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of hearing jet engines run. I used to have engines roaring in my head at night when I slept. Now all these hear these jet dryers. I'm sick and tired of jet dryers. One thing you got to watch out for today, folks, is that right front tire. Buddy, let me tell you, this place loads that right front up so hard. Drivers really lean into that right front, cutting that thing hard left through the corner, puts a lot of pressure on that tire. And the guys will get a little bit brave, let a little too much air out of that bad boy, and what happens then there, Larry?
You'll buy you some concrete real estate. But I've never seen, Dick Bergman talked about it, I've never seen so much guesswork, communicate, meetings going on in the garage area this morning. Again, like Dick said, you could always go back to last year's notes, but more power, harder tire makes it hard to do that. So they didn't even know which gear they wanted to pull because more power, like Cup cars, they're using more gear. So a lot of guesswork, and what my guess is, a lot of cars are going to hit it, a lot of cars are going to miss it.
Oh, don't ever say hit it to a driver.
No, don't say that.
Not here at Dover anyhow.
We're about to find out. If you're driving from Philly or Wilmington to the Delaware beaches, you come right through Dover. So we thought a little Beach Boys might be appropriate to get us underway here at Dover.
Shut it up, buddy, gonna shut you down. It happened on the strip where the road is wide. Two cool shorts and a side-by-side. Yeah, I'm feeling Jack the Stingray and a 413. Revving up their engines and it sounds really mean. Tack it up, buddy, shut you down.
NASCAR on FX is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official sponsor of the NASCAR Busch Series.
Welcome to the MBNA Platinum 200 on FX. We are one lap from going green here under very threatening skies. As you look through our Castrol starting grid, which was determined by point standings and per the NASCAR Busch Series rule book. There were only 43 cars signed in, so everybody starts the race. A journey into the great unknown. Very little practice time, no qualifying, no happy hour.
No, and they have the truck race, and then what happens? It rains again, so you got a clean track again, so no rubber to speak of down on the racetrack.
We're speculating, though, that NASCAR is looking at this whole situation's been created, and if they don't have a caution before lap 35 or 40, they're talking about throwing one. Let the teams make adjustments on their race cars, look at that right front tire, change tires, fill it up with fuel. We don't need anybody to get in trouble here because of lack of practice time.
No, and if it goes 40 laps without a caution, you could own my ranch.
Absolutely. You saw the aptly named walkover tunnel above turn 2. They tried 3 times to dig a tunnel under Dover Downs for cars and trucks to get out, but we're close to the seashore, folks, and the water table, it's very high.
Man, I tell you, I take a crawl under to get out of here. Until they put that walkover in, you were trapped in here. You couldn't get out no matter what happened. So if you fell out of the race, you were here for the duration.
Yep, not anymore. All right, we're set to go for just 200 miles as you look through the tail end of the field.
All right, let's heat them up. Let's buckle. Let's get tightened up here. We're going to come down. We're going to get us a green flag this time by.
You better tighten up. 24-degree banking in the corners, 10-degree on the straightaways. One car in trouble normally ends up with 5 to 10 cars in trouble.
No passing until you get to the start-finish line. All passing to the right.
Green flag, and we're racing at Dover.
And go, 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 go.
Dave Blaney's in trouble. Flat left rear tire. He's on pit road. Did not take the green.
Boy, and Harvick got off to a terrible start. Matter of fact, he looks like he's not up to speed, actually. The car really is slow.
Uh-oh, rain in turn 3. Caution is out. Boy, shades of the truck race earlier today and shades of the Winston.
You know, I'm not sure if Harvick knew it was raining in turn 3 or if he has a problem with his car. He just didn't get up to speed like he should.
Dick Bergman?
Well, he definitely knew that it was raining, and he said so on the radio. He said, I don't know why they're starting this race. It is raining in turn 1. So Harvick very intelligently just backed off the throttle, took it real easy going into that corner.
Well, I can't help but remember, he was the victim of that about 2 weeks ago in the Winston. He knew better.
Yeah, he did. He knew what happened to him at Charlotte. Man, it's raining hard right now. The track is just in a lap, gone from white to real dark brown, which means it's wet.
Tough break for Dave Blaney. That's Brian and Jane Goey's car. Jane's mother suffers from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. So their entire effort this weekend was dedicated toward raising awareness for Project ALS. And it's a shame to see them out of the race without running a lap here.
That rain, it came up in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, there's so much moisture in the air. And, you know, you walk outside, and even when it's not raining, it feels like it's raining.
Pace car is going to bring the field down pit road. We're anticipating probably we're going to see a red flag because it's raining real hard.
Red flag and more jet dryers. I'm getting tired of hearing those things.
Earlier today, Scott Riggs won the truck race, the NASCAR Craftsman Series truck race, but it was delayed by rain.
And as soon as they dropped the checkered flag, it started raining. They got the race in. They run the whole 200 miles.
That's my vortex theory. As long as you have vehicles running around the racetrack, generating heat, putting heat up into the atmosphere, you can keep some of that rain away. Don't know what happened just now. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Just didn't get the vortex wound up enough.
No, I'm afraid not.
Good thing about this racetrack, when it quits raining, it's concrete. It dries fast, just like your driveway, real fast.
Yeah, it does.
But it's got to quit raining.
They take those jet dryers out there in a matter of 30 minutes almost. They can have the same dryer ready to race on again.
But, folks, if you won't go away, we won't either. We're going to stay here, talk to some drivers, update some stories in the NASCAR Busch Series garage. And, of course, the Winston Cup cars are here, too. So the cover's going on. The grandstands are filling up, and pit road is abuzz with activity. The tarps that were over the individual pit stalls have been removed. So the fans, the rain gear is put away. The helmets are going on, and even Dick Bergman's straight off.
Yeah, and Buckshot Jones is one of the last drivers not to have his helmet on. We appreciate the opportunity to get a look at you. This guy had his best ever Winston Cup finish here. Now driving the car, Todd Bodine had been driving. What put you in the seat for this event?
I don't know. I really like Dover. We seem to always have pretty good success. We never qualify good, but you know, we ended up finishing pretty good. So just decided just to try and come run here.
Okay, well, good luck with it this afternoon. Put that brain bucket on.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it, too. He owns the car. He can drive it when he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Buckshot, and he just said if there's anything he could learn that he could take over to his 44 car for Petty Enterprises or any of the Petty cars, then that may be one reason that he wanted to do this.
And you know, Larry, we keep talking about this. Seems like these guys this year, particularly with the car, with the engine change and everything, is able to transfer lots of information, shock package, gear ratios, and so many things, springs, that in the past they haven't been able to do.
And the engine change you're talking about, they have the same compression and everything of the Winston Cup motor. The only difference in a Winston Cup and a Busch motor now is the size of the carburetor. They run a 390 CFM carburetor. Winston Cup cars run a 750 830. Makes about 100 horsepower difference, but it used to be over 200 horsepower difference.
Yeah, and now I think the feel of the car accelerates a lot more like a Winston Cup car, and that was one of the big differences before. You could almost run a Busch car around here wide open with a 9-to-1 engine and 390 carburetor. Now you got to drive it more with feel, finesse, more like a Winston Cup car.
And I'm sure that Roy, or Buckshot as we call him, you know, saw the advantage some of these fellows were having by double dipping, and it is a family operation. His dad Billy owns the car, and you know, sure, get out there, get some more track time and a little more knowledge to carry over to Sunday. So steering wheel's going on, drivers are strapped in. We are just a commercial or so away from getting the MBNA Platinum 200 back underway. We've completed 2 laps. FX welcomes you back to Dover, Delaware, where the skies are not cloudy all day. Bright sunshine fills this 1-mile concrete bowl, and the MBNA Platinum 200 is set to get back underway. We've completed 2 laps under caution and then had a red flag rain delay of now 2 hours and 22 minutes. We've interviewed more than half the field, plus a few Winston Cup drivers and Mike Skinner's dog, Opus. And the field is running. 43 cars set to go 200 laps or 200 miles. We're not sure if they're going to let Dave Blaney start this race. He did not take the initial green flag, and I do not see him in the line. So 42 cars on the track to race 200 miles.
In the pit window, 90 to 100 laps. Again, NASCAR's talking about throwing a caution flag somewhere around lap 35 to 40, just to let these teams adjust their race cars, look at that, especially that right front tire. So I'm not sure, unless it's later on in the race, that would be an issue.
The reason for that, folks, is this concrete is so abrasive, and once it's rained and washed the rubber off of it, it's going to eat up the first set of tires.
NASCAR, since Dave Blaney did participate in the pace laps, they said he could rejoin the race. However, they have already parked that car. So we'll have 42 cars for the restart, led by series point leader, the Darlington winner and Charlotte winner, Jeff Green. This is a 1-mile speedway. It's banked 24 degrees in the corners, 9 degrees on each straightaway. And folks, if 9 degrees doesn't sound like much, all you have to do is walk or ride around here. This is like racing inside a big serving dish.
Well, you can see that, even see the straightaway, even how it's angled down. That's the 9 degrees, and then of course the banking in the turns. This place keeps you busy.
You spend 3/4 of your time turning in the corner. Car never gets a break here. Driver never gets a break.
Driver. 15-year-old Robbie Blauen from Massapequa Park, New York, is the junior flagman. In fact, for this morning's Craftsman Truck Series race, he was invited up on the flagman stand and was honorary starter for that event. He's been doing this for almost 10 years and aspires to do it full time. Well, he's auditioned long enough.
Got my vote.
Okay. Field is set for a restart, and we'll be right back for it. This is NASCAR on FX. Welcome back to Dover Downs, where in 3 laps we'll be going racing. Get a little heat in the racetrack and back in these race cars after a 2-hour rain delay. Dick Berggren.
Hey, it's all smiles down here. The sky over the top of my head looks absolutely terrific. This is what we have waited all afternoon for. I don't think a single fan has left that grandstand. They're all here. We're all here, ready to rock and roll.
Well, Dick, Jason Keller has 5 NASCAR Busch Series wins, but his all-time highlight was beating Mark Martin here a year ago. And remember, he loves concrete racetracks. Matt Yoakum.
Last week at Charlotte, pit road speed was a factor, but today at Dover could be how you park your race car in your pit stall. Here on pit road, it's a concrete pit stall made back in 1998 for the IRL cars. But the black line is the outside of the pit box, not the concrete, which extends another 22 inches out to the pavement. A number of teams were penalized in the Craftsman Truck Series race earlier today for pitting outside of their box. The result, a 1-lap penalty. A number of teams have laid down tape just so their driver will know when he enters the pit stall where that outside edge is. Mike?
Scott Riggs, the truck race winner earlier today. Jeff Green, the point leader, is our leader. Greg Biffle snatching second from Kevin Harvick, who eased it into the corner when his windshield filled with raindrops. Keller, Purvis, McLaughlin, Johnson, Raines, Kenseth, and Skinner, the top 10. Nobody in the field gained or lost more than 1 position except Steve Park, who snuck up 4 spots from his 38th starting position.
That's $40. He made $40.
To the Victory Junction, Kansas.
Good reason. Well, we'll see if Kevin Happy Harvick get a little bit better restart this time, because he got nothing but sunshine on his shoulders now.
And watch in your record stores for Darrell Waltrip's new CD, The Jet Dryer's Greatest Performances. I get tired of that sound, too.
Good grief.
The Jet Dryer's, not Darrell, Larry.
No. I knew what you...
I'm here to help you. Qualify Qualifying was rained out here in Dover, so they lined up based on points. Jeff Green, 39 up on Kevin Harvick. Green, Harvick, and Biffle have traded the point lead back and forth throughout the season. And now, the best thing we've seen in quite a while, the 1 to go sign.
All right, boys, you got a lap on those tires. Clean them up. Tighten those belts up. Get ready to rock and roll.
Darrell, this is where these drivers, they've got to use some patience, because we mentioned it a while ago. The racetrack is what we call green. The rubber's been washed off by the rain. Car may not grip as good in the beginning, but sooner or later that rubber get laid down and the grip will come to it a little bit.
One good thing, Larry, is a single file restart. I mean, because we have taken the green, we're not going to have cars racing off into the corner side by side. I think that's going to give us a little cleaner start here than we would have had, you know, on the get-go.
So we hope you've enjoyed these 2.5 hours of rain delay theater on FX. And now we're set to get back at it. 7 laps complete, 8 when they come around for the green. Speaking of greens, this is the 10th Busch race this year that Jeff Green has led. He's led 7 of the last 8 races, and he will bring them to the green flag.
All right, coming down, get ready to go. Second gear, all passing to the right. Don't pass before you get to the start-finish line. Even though somebody in front of you may not go, either go around on the right side or wait till you get to the start line. See a car's back in there on the outside trying to pass on the right-hand side.
And we're back to racing. Pretty much clean restart.
Clean restart. Pretty much everybody trying to run the bottom of the racetrack. They're getting racy back, man.
Clean, but I saw that 66 car plumb sideways off of turn 2 over there. That corner will give you the most trouble because there's no rubber there, and it's a little loose up out there.
We get to run about 10 laps under green here, and we'll see who guessed best at the setup for today.
Boy, right now, most guys are complaining, I'm sure, about being loose because there's just not much grip in the racetrack. Until we get the dirt and the dust, everything's blown off from the jet dryers and the trucks riding around here. There's a residue that comes out of those jet dryers that a lot of guys say makes the racetrack slick. For there's 66 in the wall now.
And here 3 more cars pile up. Parker, Lewis, Grubb, and Foyt piles in.
Wow. That's exactly what happened. This front straightaway is just so treacherous. Both of them are. Once a car gets out of shape, it goes straight down into that boilerplate.
Tim Feedle in the 66. This is happening on the back stretch. On the other side of the racetrack from the wreck on the front stretch.
Well, I saw him get real loose up off the 2 there on the first lap, and then come off of turn 4 here, slapped the outside retaining wall, and that's how these other cars all got involved. They tried to check up and couldn't.
Larry, he probably damaged that car so much on the front stretch side that when he came off 2, it just wouldn't turn and went around. Here's the aftermath. This straightaway looks wide, but when a car gets across it, it narrows up fast. And as we said at the top of the show, there are very few one-car accidents here.
Feedaway back there off of turn 4, he gets into the outside retaining wall. These other guys are just checking up a little bit because of him slowing down, and they got into each other.
Ooh, that's hard licks.
Larry Foyt came in there with a really fast.
From Hank Parker's camera.
Oh, he got turned around. Nowhere to go.
See how thick that inside wall is. It does not move.
There's Larry Foyt with Steve Park inside. Foyt checks up.
Park gets into the back of him and turns him around and sends him down into the accident, right into the side of Hank Park.
Hits that wet grass down there, and the car just picks up speed.
Actually, as Ashton Lewis, 46.
Here's Feedaway. And the initial problem. Back on that in a moment. Kevin Grubb walking away.
Feedaway's car was really loose, Mike. Saw him off at 2 over there, and he got in trouble over there. Then he come around here and hit the outside wall.
Kevin Grubb, who you heard hoped for a strong day here at Dover. Here again, there goes Feedaway.
See how loose he was.
Just up out of the groove and slides right into the fence. And of course, what brought all these other cars into it was them slowing down, checking up because of him hitting the fence there in front of them.
Look at it. There's damage to the left rear of Feedaway, though.
Guys, if you look, whenever he sees the car spinning around here as he comes through turn 2, after hitting the wall off of turn 4, as he hit the wall coming off of turn 4, he actually broke the track bar mount, which keeps the rear end underneath the car. And as it came off the wall, the car is actually just kind of dancing around and driving itself. If you watch right here, he comes into the wall, boom, right there. If you'll notice right to the back, the rear end is kind of running around. See it come out underneath the car on the left-hand side? The thing is actually steering itself in the rear, and he's trying to keep up with it.
Look at the left rear corner of that car. I think maybe he got turned because that damage was there before he hit the wall.
Jay Sauter in the 43 car was right behind him, very close to him as they came off turn 4 before he hit the wall.
That possibly could have happened off of turn 2, and I looked up and saw him sideways over there. Then he come around here and hit the wall.
Yep. But for Larry Foyt, it's a short day for Ashton Lewis.
And what Jeff was talking about, this is a track bar. This hooks to the trailing arm on the left side. This hooks to the frame on the right side. A lot of times this part of brake or that part of brake, and that's what holds the rear end in the center of the car. And when it breaks or a heim joint breaks rod end, the rear end has no way of staying in the center of the car. Dick Berggren. Short day for Kevin Grubb. What happened?
It's hard to say. I was coming off turn 4 over there, and it looked like the 66 kind of got up into the wall, and after that, everybody just started spinning. I got Hank Parker. I think he locked the brakes up to keep from hitting somebody. He was sliding down the track. I ended up kind of T-boning him, and we were hung all the way down the front straightaway. But it's a bad deal for the Timberwolf car. Most of the time we run pretty good here at Dover, and I was just on air a little while ago talking about luck, and we sure haven't found it yet.
How wild a ride was that?
It was pretty wild because I couldn't see it. I couldn't tell where we were going or what we were getting ready to hit because we were hung up against the inside wall, and it's been raining all day. We went through some grass, and we had water, and we had the whole 9 yards going. But yes, hopefully we can get the car back out there and get some points.
Disappointing day. This young man has won a pole. Here his career best finish in this series. A second was also here at Dover.
Under repair, Jamie McMurray and Rich Nickel on pit road. Here's another look as Hank Parker Jr. went around and went for the big slide on the big concrete mile. Caution's out again. We'll be right back to the Monster Mile. Welcome back to Dover Downs, where tomorrow on Fox Sports Net, NASCAR this morning, then the MBNA Platinum 400 for the Winston Cup cars on Fox at 12:30 Eastern Time, and NASCAR Victory Lane to recap and wrap things up on the net at 9 p.m. your local time tomorrow. Well, let's find out what happened to put Tim Fedewa into that spin. Here's Matt.
And Tim Fedewa has climbed from his race car. Tim, you were saying the track was very loose. Do you feel like it was because of the jet dryer, or maybe you just lost it?
Hard to say, you know, it's just slippery, and I was trying to just ease into it and got a little loose, and Jay was tucked right up under me and gave me a tap after I already got loose, and that's all it took, you know. So nothing my fault, you know, whatever. I hate to took my own teammate out and a bunch of other cars, so that's racing, unfortunately. Just not been a very good year to me, and to the guys. I feel bad for them and everybody else who got tore up. But, you know, all you can say is sorry, and try again next week.
They're going to try to fix it, and the good news, he's okay. To Dick.
So is Ashton Lewis. He has just walked out of the care center, but he's torn up an unsponsored race car. How hard was that hit?
The hit wasn't that bad. It's just the damage it caused. It took the car out pretty good. And, you know, we had a good car today. Just kind of biding our time. We looked like Fedewa got in the wall coming out of 4, and everybody started checking up. We came to the inside, and I think somebody spun Hank, and there's nowhere to go, and took us out. But, you know, we're trying out there to learn. We look like we're getting some points and catching up in some points and get some good finishes in there. And then you come here, a place I love, and get taken out early. It's kind of unfortunate for us, but, you know, we'll deal with it, move on.
We'll see you next time. We're getting ready to go green.
7 cars are behind the wall as we restart, with Jeff Green leading, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick, Jason Keller, and Jeff Purvis.
Yep, set him up and try it again. Boy, Biffle's all over the back of Green off the 2 over there. Got a good run at him, but looks like Green's going to pull him down the straightaway.
Another single file restart.
Boy, Biffle really shoots right up under the back.
He got into the back of it right there. You saw Jeff Green with his hands. He was busy. Biffle's going to take the lead and pull Kevin Harvick in the 2 car with him.
I think Jeff Green said, the better of this, I'll let those 2 beat on each other.
The 3 drivers fighting for the championship started up front, since we started based on point standings with qualifying rained out. Greg Biffle is the 81st driver to lead a Busch Series race here at Dover.
Matt Yoakum.
Well, Hank Mike, we were talking before the start. You said it's going to be a wild one. You didn't expect it to be that wild.
I was hoping it wouldn't be that wild, but got caught up in somebody else's mess. Not any fun, but I just like to thank all the guys at GNC. A lot of them are here today and watching the race. It's unfortunate we're out of the race early, but you know, things like that you just can't prevent. We're going to try to pick it up so we can do in Kentucky.
You're going to fix it? Can you fix it?
We might be able to fix it, but it's not going to be fast or pretty.
Today.
It's just come out of the infield care center. Larry Foyt, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just really disappointed, you know. Really wanted to get some laps here and had some trouble early, which we knew might happen. Just got caught up in it.
Okay, we're glad you're all right.
Almost trouble, Darrell. And that happens often here.
That 21 car, Skinner, I saw no way he could save it.
That's as close as you'll come to trouble and not have trouble.
Golly, Larry. He was crossed up, smoking. And some of that smoke was coming off the steering wheel, by the way.
Mike Skinner, the 9th place car. Fastest car on the racetrack, 31, Steve Park. He's come from 38th to 20th. Through the back. There's a look at Park and Kevin LePage in 71. Trying to work their way to the front. Neither of them with many points in the NASCAR Busch Series, so they started well back. LePage 32nd and Park back in 38th. Back up front. Biffle and Harvick in a familiar pose. 1-2, one way or the other.
It's a great rivalry, isn't it? I mean, every series needs one. I love it when there's two guys that are very competitive and like to go at each other every week. And these two guys are classy.
Let's watch Matt Kenseth's view of that Mike Skinner bump with Johnson.
That's just take it from a guy that's been there and done that. That's breathtaking.
At about 150 miles an hour.
Whoa, I'm telling you. That's when everybody starts hollering, "All right, you're all right, you're all right. Get your rhythm back." And I don't know if they're talking about driving the car or your heartbeat. I don't know which one.
We're watching our leader, Greg Biffle, in that 60 car. A lot of time in the garage here to talk to people. Word on the street, we're going to see him in a few Winston Cup races later on this year.
Now, is that to prepare him for Winston Cup or to help his Busch effort? As we've been discussing, that double dipping seems to benefit the drivers who do.
I got to believe that's about the future.
I believe it is, too.
Greg Biffle, your leader. Kevin Harvick in second. Jeff Green third, about 1.5 seconds back. His teammate, Jason Keller, fourth. And two teammates, Purvis and McLaughlin, 5th and 6th. Jeff Hammond.
Mike Joy, couldn't help but listen to what you were talking about Greg Biffle. Having the fortunes of having him test our race cars when I was at the 97 car at Roush Racing, went to Talladega with him. Outstanding driver, got a super feel. Didn't have a lot of experience in a Winston Cup car, but how quickly he adapted. And I know through the conversation we had down there at that period, his long-term goal was to get into Winston Cup, and I know that after being around Roush Racing, they've got him on a schedule. They brought him up deliberately to the trucks to the Busch ranks this year, looking at going on up to Winston Cup next year, because Greg Biffle is one of those guys that cannot be denied when it comes to getting up front, leading races, and he knows he believes it belongs in Winston Cup, and that's where they're going to take him, I think, next year.
Not only that, Mike, but I believe he says, look, Harvick's getting all this pub for doing both series, and I'm not getting as much as he is. Can I get in there and join him?
Right. Oh, Jeff Green gets bumped by a slower car, gathers it up, and Steve Park is flying.
Oh, he
just dusted off Spencer, moved up to 16th.
He just catches them and passes them. He doesn't have to work them over or anything. He just catches and passes.
Now, remember, he got into Larry Foyt there, turned Foyt into that accident just because he couldn't stop in time, and that's the damage to his nose.
Just a little bit of grill damage. Looks like he shoved the grill back just a little bit. Might be helping.
Yeah, looks like it helped.
You know, the only concern would be there, you know, keeping a monitor on the water temperature, making sure it's not affecting how it cools. But if you're going to hit somebody with the front end right there in the center, and the grill is the best place, least effective to the front end.
It is, and, you know, like I say, might even create a little bit more downforce.
Mike Harmon joins the cars out of the race. The Alabama driver making his 4th Busch Series start of the year. Bill Hoff has gone to the garage. And Jeff Streeter, the 21-year-old rookie out of Iowa.
Just watch Park as he just moves right up through those cars, and just as soon as he catches somebody, he's right behind Kenny Wallace and been closing up on him in a pretty fast pace here.
Scott Wimmer and Jimmy Spencer work past Bickle's damaged car and Phil Bonnefeld's 49.
Buescher's been having trouble getting around Wimmer. He's been behind him quite a while now.
At the front, Biffle and Harvick keeping close tabs on one another. Here comes Harvick to the outside, and it looks like Biffle just let him go.
That's all about leading the lap. Let me lead a lap and get my 5 points. You got yours.
And that's the first time that Harvick has led today. So Kevin Harvick goes to the front. The two big movers of the race, Steve Park and Kevin LePage, as things begin to unfold after a 2.5-hour rain delay here in Dover. We're racing with 33 laps complete. Kevin Harvick leads this race by 1 second over Greg Biffle and 3 seconds over Jeff Green. But in traffic, Steve Park, who's now up to 13th, is lapping as fast as the leader.
He is, and you know, he's a candidate for right front tire trouble as hard as he's driving his car. They got it. Everybody knows. And I thought about Harvick and Biffle there. Biffle kind of pulled down and let Harvick go by. There's going to be a caution flag here very shortly for these guys to come in and check the right front tire and change tires if they need to. So there's no need in really forcing the issue right now.
Matt Kenseth on the move, pressuring Mike Skinner. That's for 7th place.
Need to run to this caution flag, get in the pits, and let's look at that right front tire.
2480, 25 flat.
2480, 25 flat. Those are pretty good lap times, and we need to get in here and look at that tire pretty soon.
Kenseth underneath Mike McLaughlin.
Skinner in that 21 car, he was one of the fastest cars in practice yesterday before qualifying was washed out. Again, they took the setup from that car, run down to the Winston Cup garage area, put it on that Winston Cup car. These two teams, his Busch team and his Winston Cup team, really working close with each other right now.
All right, let's get to the pits of the point leader, Jeff Green.
Jeff Green was the early leader of this event, but right now his chassis is not to his liking. The back end is sliding around. The car is simply loose, so he needs that pit stop. He's 2.8 back. Just needs.
Well, Dick, opposite problem for Jason Keller in the 57 and Jeff Purvis in the 18. They're running 4th and 5th. Their cars are both tight. They've developed a push. They need more rubber to get out on the track before those cars will turn better.
We're at 42 laps. Ride with Jeff Purvis there as he works lap traffic. Purvis in 5th place. And moving in on Keller.
One of his teammates, I guess you'd say teammates, Coy Gibbs finished 5th in the truck race. And that could be some good information that they've applied to, not just to the truck, but maybe brought some over to this Busch car, because he's run awful well, too.
And then we heard him in his interview. He was one of the few Busch teams that tested up here with the lack of practice. That has to be an advantage.
Jamie McMurray's car was damaged in that lap 11 crash as Harvick tries to work by him and put him another lap down. Excuse me, put him a lap down. He's been out there on the tail end of the lead lap, and Harvick does so. Biffle moves in, and you see the yellow car of Jeff Green there in 3rd. His teammate Jason Keller 4th. Purvis 5th.
Boy, at 31, he just went around Randy LaJoie with a great deal of authority. How about it, Matt?
Well, the concern right now, Darrell, for Steve Park in that 31 car, the water temperature is a little bit hot. The crew have been talking back and forth. Teddy Marsh, the owner, talking to Steve Park about the water. They're trying to get the car out into some clean air to try to cool that car off. They're talking about, on their first pit stop, possibly pulling some tape off the grill. But unfortunately, when he was in that accident on lap 1 there, it knocked the grill out, so there's no tape left. So now they're looking, maybe something might be in front of the radiator that might be causing this car to run a little warm.
The Park will keep an eye on the gauges. Here's Matt Kenseth, who has gone past Jason Keller for 4th place.
What happens on that car is the ductwork. There's so much aluminum and stuff in around the radiator there, the ducting, that you'll knock a piece of that down in front of the radiator, and that's why I say that may be why he's running so fast. He may be running as if the front end's taped up on that car. That's good news. It'll make it fast. Bad news is it'll make it run hot, too.
And slowing it down will not cool it down, will it?
Oh, no. No, there's not much you can do right now except wait for that caution that they were talking about having and work on it then.
Well, Darrell, they had said before the race started that they would throw the caution at 40 laps if there was not a caution earlier, so teams could check tires. We've had, of course, the rain delay at lap 2, and then a caution at lap 11 for the accident. So remains to be seen what will happen as that goes. 48 laps complete. Jeff Green working around McMurray. He's still the third place car, but he's 3.2 seconds off the lead right now.
You know, watching Kevin Harvick in the 2-car leader right here, it was a year ago that he sat on the pole here and just dominated this race, just until he made an adjustment late in the race that went the wrong way. But against Steve Park in his 31, he just continues to march forward. He's only competed in, this is his 4th Busch race this year, but he's finished in the top 10 every time he's completed one of these races.
I believe the car is running hot, though. I tell you why I think that. He really accelerates hard through the corner, closes right up on the back of the car in front of him, but that thing's almost detonating down the straightaway. Got the caution.
This is the cost, the NASCAR caution for the teams to check tire wear, and it comes at lap 50. And again, John Darby, the Busch Series director, said if we run 40 straight laps under green, and the caution was out at lap 11 for the big accident. So now we've gone 40 laps past that, and this caution is because of the limited track time these cars have had. It's in the interest of safety for all the teams to be able to come in and check tires.
Yeah, this place is notorious, as Larry knows and Jeff knows, for right front abuse. And you just can't take a chance. That's what happened to Joe Nemechek up here testing. Buddy, when you hit the wall here, you're in these turns 170 mile an hour. And it hurts. And there's the 36 limping back on the racetrack.
Well, by doing that, Darrell, he's going to gain 3 or 4 positions from the other cars that were involved in that accident if they cannot get back on the speedway.
He had sheet metal damage, but the wheels all look lined up, Larry.
But they definitely needed to run enough laps to be able to see what the right front tires was going to look like. You know, you couldn't run 20 laps and find out anything. So I think that 40 straight laps, all the leaders, they will be to pit road. It'll be 4 tires, full of fuel, adjustments on these cars. Kevin Harvick brings them on the pit road right here.
Hard to believe blue sky above after a 2.5-hour rain delay. Late getting this one started, but glad to have you with us on FX as the cars hit pit road at lap 51.
Been pretty lucky, really. I mean, it rained this morning. Then it quit, and they got the truck race in. It's raining earlier, and now it's quit. We got the Busch race going. And how about down there in the pits, Matt?
A 4-tire stop for Steve Park. Same car he had at Darlington, which probably could have won the race, but he had trouble on pit road. This time around, Napa guys and Pennzoil guys, air pressure all the way around. Sadiq.
Air pressure adjustment on the number 60 car. Right now, Jeff Green in the number 10 is pitting. He is going to take 2 turns on the track bar and try and tighten that automobile up. And the first man out is Harvick. Green with a wrist pit stall in the whole place, but he's far from the first out after this first round of pit stops.
Kevin Harvick busts them all getting off pit road. You see the congestion there. And it'll be Harvick the leader when we come back. Didn't pull a lot of tape off the front of Steve Park's car. We'll see how he fares when we come back. There's Harold Hawley, Jeff Green's crew chief. We'll be right back to Dover Downs. Welcome back to the MBNA 200. Let's recap pit stops first with Steve.
Well, Mike, Jason Keller came in. They put 2 turns down on the track bar. The 18 of Jeff Burbers, they put 2 rounds of fight in the right rear.
Well, Biffle has the most unusual problem you can possibly imagine. The pedals are not right in his race car, so when he's on the brake, at the same time, he's also on the throttle. He was spinning the tires down here while he was making his pit stop. To Matt.
Well, Steve Park did not lose any positions on pit road. We told you about he has the Napa and Pennzoil guys from DEI, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, helping pit this race car. He did make an air pressure adjustment, 1.5 pounds down on the left rear, and also a 0.5 pound down all the way around, lowering the air pressure when they start out so the buildup will not be as much. We told you earlier the grill is gone, so they couldn't pull any tape off, and the tires look fairly decent on Park's race car.
Well, we'll see if it does not overheat. Well, that's the big thing.
This joint here is just this concrete, it just builds up the tire pressure so much more than it even does on asphalt. This racetrack is just like driving down a concrete highway. You get that thump, to thump, to thump, to thump. And it just really works on those tires. So you got to run the pressures as low as you feasibly can to keep them from building up so much.
We saw a shot of Park's car where you could look right through the grill to the wheel well. So a lot of air that would be channeled through the radiator gets away. We'll see how that affects him as we go back to green. And Kevin Harvick leads them into turn 1 on the restart. Mike Skinner had a tough pit stop, came in 7th, exited 14th. Couple of lap cars on the inside for the leaders to get past single file.
Yeah, and Harvey got a great restart, but that 17 car, Matt Kence's, that thing looks pretty fast too, boys.
Matt said yesterday that running both the Busch and the Cup Series is not as much of an advantage for him as it is for some drivers, because his Busch car is a Chevy and his Cup car is a Ford owned by a different team, and a lot of the same setups do not transfer over as they may for some of the other double dippers.
But I think the biggest thing he finds out, again, Busch and Cup on the same weekend always run the same Goodyear tire. It lets him know what the racetrack's going to do, how this tire's going to react 40, 50, 60 laps into a run.
It lets him know what to politic for anyway.
Now, Jay Sauter had trouble getting out of his pit stall and down pit road. They pushed him into the Winston Cup garage. Dick?
Well, and on Jay Sauter's car, the engine is not running at all right now. A mechanic is in the car, physically, completely in the car. Two more mechanics under the hood. They've been working on the battery. You guessed it. It's an ignition problem. Cutting in and out. Right now, it's cut out altogether.
Tough break for Sauter.
And that's just, again, lack of track time. You know, if we'd had a happy hour for these guys, they got some practice, might have caught that, and wouldn't have had that problem in the race. Same thing with Blaney's car. I mean, he broke that track bar on the opening lap. If he'd had practice, he'd have caught that.
Riding with Kenny Wallace, as Chad Little just ahead.
It's a battle for about 15th to about 20th right here in this little group.
We say about because they're changing fast.
Well, that's the thing. The closing right here, again, is huge. The guy in front of you lifts a little bit. You're coming so fast, buddy, you don't know which way to go. You don't want to go high, go low, and that's usually what's called ingredients for a disaster.
Well, Jason Keller in that 57 car just got passed by his teammate Jeff Green in the 10. Greg Biffle in the 60 goes under. And looks like right now, just watching Jeff Green in that 10 car, remember, talking about his car loose. They made major adjustments. Sounds like several teams were a little bit loose, but DW, I'm not surprised. The racetrack was green.
Yeah.
No rubber on it.
This baby will be loose for a while, and then as it gets rubber down on it, it'll tighten up a little bit, and you'll take that wedge back out. But you've got to keep adjusting the car according to the track conditions.
There's Jay Sauter back on the racetrack, and David Donahue back out after a pit stop under green. Dick Berggren.
Well, Kevin Harvick just keyed his radio and asked Todd Berrier, his crew chief, how do the tires look, Todd? He paused for a moment and he said, and don't lie to me. Berrier said they look good. Laughing, he said, man, I wouldn't lie to you. He shouldn't. He's in the lead.
It's never that they lie to you. They just don't tell you everything. They tell you what you need to hear.
But Kevin Harvick, he needs to know that there, because he knows exactly how hard he ran the car there that run, and he needs to know, hey, do I need to back off a little bit, or can I run it a little harder? Randy LaJoie in that 7 car, he's won here twice, pulling Mike Skinner in 21. That's a battle for 9th.
Larry, one of the things right now that Kevin is alluding to, as well as Darrell, the confidence that you've got to have in your crew chief to be able to make you feel like you can run the car and do what you need to do without having reservations. That confidence has got to be there from the start. And when you've kind of got a steer like these guys have got when you come to Dover and you know you got to take care of the right front tire, you need to reiterate it's good, or you know you got to take care of it.
No, that's exactly right, Jeff. This is no place to not tell the driver everything. Whoa, something happened back there on the back.
For Jason Rudd, Ricky's nephew. And that's off the back straightaway.
Caution is on the Speedway again here at lap 64.
Fourth time today we've had caution, including the 2.5-hour rain delay.
That bumper, Mike, and this track don't go together.
Buddy Baker once said, he said, this track has that foot-thick concrete wall backed up by the whole state of Delaware.
That's it. I hope that young man's all right. It's a pretty hard lick. You see a lot of damage to the car. They're talking to him. He seems to be fine. He's got his helmet off, getting the steering wheel out of the way. He's fine.
You see him taking the steering wheel off there. There's a quick release on that steering wheel. It just makes it easier to get in and out of the race car rather than having to climb in or around the steering wheel. Just a little old quick release.
Here's a look at what happened to Jason Rudd. Top of your screen. Around.
No help from behind, I don't think.
That's a hard
lick. That is a hard lick.
Yeah. So mean. That's just that old mean turn too, Larry.
And you run downhill. Everything runs downhill.
Caution for the 4th time in this MBNA 200. You're watching NASCAR on FX. Welcome back to Dover, where we're under the 4th caution of the day. 33 laps from halfway, 133 laps from the checkered flag. In the MBNA 200, here's another look at what happened to Jason Rudd.
Now, when you come up out of the corner, right about where the back of his car jumps out, you can get right out here next to the wall. That's because you're accelerating hard, got the wheels turned left, and that back end will just jump out from under you. The back tires sometimes almost feel like they spin right there. The car gets so loose on exit.
Pow!
And if you're already a little bit loose, and then the thing comes up out there, and the back of the car gets a little light, and it'll jump right out from under you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, when they get the soft wall technology perfected, Darrell, that's one of the first places I'd like to see it, is the inside of these straightaways here at Dover.
By all means, Mike. I mean, a track that's banked down on the straightaways like this it'll be a perfect place for him.
All right, here's Jason Keller, who was 3rd on his last restart, 6th when he pitted. Steve?
Yeah, Jason Keller was the only one of the leaders to pit, Mike Joy. They pulled a spring rubber out of the left front and changed left side tires. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Steve Buckshot Jones in the 00 came in twice under this caution. The first time they put a full spring rubber in the right rear. His car was very tight. They came back in, also let 2 pounds of air out of that right front tire.
Buckshot running in 25th position.
A lot of spring rubbers being adjusted on here. We talked about the one on Jason Keller and on Buckshot Jones. And we're going to show it in the right rear. It serves the same purpose in any spring. See them take the right rear tire off here. You see the spring rubber right in there, pulling it out, just like they did on the left front of Jason Keller's car. Now what they did on Buckshot Jones's car in the right rear, spring rubber in. Makes that spring stiffer. Here they are. This is a full spring rubber, probably worth about 200 pounds. This is a spring rubber, the full one, 200 pounds in the left front, maybe about 25 in the right rear.
Getting set to go back to green at lap 69. Harvick still the leader, and Matt Kenseth, who has only 6 Busch Series starts at this track, but is 3rd on the all-time leader list here.
He runs good here, and he wins here, too.
Made his first Winston Cup start here in 1998, substituting for Bill Elliott.
And had an awesome day. I mean, everybody took notice of Matt Kenseth that day. I think that's what got him in Winston Cup. I think Jack Roush said, I like the way that boy looks. No, he likes the way he drives. I don't know if he likes the way he looks or not.
Likes the way he looks in a race car.
In a race car. He holds a pretty wheel.
Did you see Harvick just kind of all loosey-goosey down there into turn 1? And Steve Park continues his march to the front. 5th place.
That's what you call on a mission. And wasn't he the one that said you had to stay up on the wheel? Well, he's up on the wheel, folks.
Tony Raines trying. He's working on Jeff Purvis. That's Purvis's back bumper you're riding on. And that race is for 6.
And we've talked about Tony Raines and his group for the last few weeks. They just seemingly get stronger and stronger as the season goes on. A lot of bad luck in the beginning of the season. Big wreck at Daytona back in February. But they just keep on keeping on here as we keep getting into the season.
Oh, he's definitely my candidate for most improved. That whole team is. They've just done a great job over the last several weeks.
Kelton Sawyer, Mike McLaughlin battle. That'll be 10th place. Sawyer takes the spot. Scott Wimmer trying to follow him up through underneath.
Just wouldn't want to get hung up on that outside right now. I mean, you're going to lose a lot of spots. You're going to kind of freight train right on by you.
And that's what's going on with Mike McLaughlin right now. There you see Jimmy Spencer in the 1, David Green in the 34. They just kicked him up to the high side.
Just not enough grip up there. You can get up there and run, but you just can't be aggressive. Around the bottom where the rubber is and the track, a little more aggressive down there.
Kenny Wallace, the Briggs & Stratton cam, looking ahead at Chad Little, and that's McLaughlin getting freight trained up on the outside.
Larry, it's gotten a little cloudy again, but unlike an asphalt track, clouds in, sun, those kinds of climate changes doesn't seem to affect this concrete like it does a black asphalt track.
That's the one thing I did always like about it, DW. It seemed like unless it was a big temperature swing, I'm talking 30 or 40 degrees, it was pretty predictable. Again, the rubber laid down on the racetrack would change the racetrack, but pretty much it wasn't as temperature sensitive, especially from where we were last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the most sensitive.
Boy, Mike McLaughlin has dropped 12 spots now as Hamilton Jr. and LePage go by. He gets a spot in line, but Marty Houston's going to go to work on him there.
Just can't get the run off the corner when you're on the outside. Like, can't get back to the gas quite too quick enough. People just keep driving under you and by you.
And Skinner makes a power move past Tony Raines on the outside for 7th.
a lot of times that's a gimme. A guy will just say, you're out there, you got a little more steam than I do. I don't want to race you, and they'll give you the line and let you go by.
A couple of things going on here. We talked about track temperature and how less sensitive the concrete is. We started the race, it was 79 degrees. Now it's only 1 degree cooler at 78 degrees. But I got to believe all the crew chiefs, all the spotters, they're watching these guys. It's a 200-lap race. We're at lap 76. They know in 24 laps it's an official race should it rain halfway.
McLaughlin's out. He's in trouble down here in turn 4. He just went way up the racetrack and trying to get into the pits.
Matt, what's wrong?
Mike, he was going to pit this time by. He was reporting a vibration in that 20 car. McLaughlin said the vibration is getting worse, and he's now down on pit road.
They got out of the throttle in turn 2 after the pack went past him.
Listen, I'm not so sure that,
right side tires only.
that he was running up high. You pick up a lot of trash and debris up there. It builds up on your tires. It makes you think you've got a flat tire.
And that may be why they're changing right side tires only. Those were the tires that were up there in the loose stuff.
You wouldn't believe that what those tires will pick up around this racetrack when you get up out of the groove.
He pulled a spring rubber out of the right front as well while they were there. Here comes Greg Biffle. He knows the skies are getting dark here behind Jeff Green in that 10 car.
Right on the bottom.
Yeah, and back in the gas too, boy. That's where you make time here. Is when you can drive in. Don't overdrive the corner. Don't drive it down there so hard, but pick that throttle up early and accelerate forward from the middle off. That's how you run here. You just really get back in the gas and hold it wide open all the way up off the corner. That's when you got a good race car.
Look who's coming after him. Steve Park in 5th place, closing in. He's got Jay Sauter in between himself and that 3rd, 4th place battle.
And I mean, Park is just driven to the front, from the back to the front. And you remember, $10 a car that he passes, and he's made some cash in a short period of time.
And he's been complaining about his pit crew in the 3 races that he's run this year. They gave up no positions on pit road. He came in 10th, went out 10th.
They've done the job. And Mike Skinner, who lost 7 spots on pit road, has gained all 7 of them back on the racetrack up to 7th place. Dick?
Well, McLaughlin's got a broken wheel under here. The crew did not want us to see the wheel, but the center of the wheel is actually broken out. So when NASCAR says you got a vibration, bring it in, it won't fix itself, that's the kind of stuff they're talking about.
Ouch.
Now, did it break because of fatigue or a wheel failure, or were the lug nuts loose?
And normally, most wheels that I've seen broke before like that in the center part, Darrell, it's because lug nuts. More than one lug nut was
didn't have all the lug nuts tight.
Mike McLaughlin has lost 2 laps as a consequence. Kevin Harvick leads Matt Kenseth, who is second at Dover Downs only to Harry Gant and Ricky Craven in the number of Busch Series laps he has led here. And he's only run 8 races here. 83 laps complete. And we'll be back with more NASCAR on FX and the MBNA 200. We've got a lot of side-by-side battling for the lead, and for an instant, Matt Kenseth even got his bumper out front, but there's Harvick having put him away once again. They are running away from Greg Biffle, who's 2.5 seconds back.
But if I was the spotter, the crew chief, and the car owner, I'd be saying, hey, big picture racing here, buddy. You're running for a championship. That guy behind you isn't. Let's don't be racing side by side around here. Dale Jr. took Kenseth out here a couple of years ago accidentally because they get to wobbling when they get under each other like that.
Both those guys were running for the championship when that happened. But again, the little picture, Darrell, we just crossed lap 90, 10 laps to halfway. Sky's getting darker. What makes it an official race is the completion of the halfway lap at lap 100.
Darrell, but if I bought a ticket and I'm sitting in that grandstand, I'm saying go get him.
Oh, I know, and that's the way Harvick races. I mean, he's not the kind of guy that's just going to roll over and let him go by, but still, you got to think about the big picture.
So Kenseth goes by into the lead. If he leads 40 laps today, he'll move to second on the all-time list with 463. Harry Gant has led over 800 Busch Series laps here. Steve Park, meanwhile, is stalled in his march to catch and pass Greg Biffle for 3rd. Steve? I'm sorry, Matt Yoakum.
Mike, under that last caution, Steve Park's spotter, Randy Smith, his spotter since 1992 in the Busch Northern Modified Series, radioed down to Teddy Marchionne and said, it's getting darker and darker over the horizon. You need to send someone to the NASCAR hauler to check out the radar because we are getting closer and closer to halfway. We may need to really push the button here. This could be Park's best finishes the 5th. Maybe today there could be a victory.
Delana Harvick is Kevin Harvick's wife. She is a racer. She is the daughter of a racer. And just a moment ago, she turned to me and gestured and said, push it up just a little bit.
Is that anything like crank it up?
Crank it up.
Well, we've definitely seen where Harvick cannot run his car as low on the racetrack as Matt Kenseth, but what I've seen, Darrell, he figured out how to run it up in that second groove and still keep his momentum off the corner.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being up there. It's easier on the tires. The rubber is starting to lay down a little bit in that upper groove. You can see a lot of guys are making passes out there, and it's a whole lot easier on the tires when you don't have to bend that thing so tight around the bottom.
But you know, talk about Kevin Harvick, though, in records. He's been running at the end of 42 consecutive races. Wow. The all-time record is 46. He's the only car in 2001 that don't have a DNF so far this year.
And what happened to him at Charlotte was just one of those racing deals, as they say, a broken bolt that he had to come in and put back on for a shock absorber. I think he could have won that race.
Well, now we'll get to Steve. He is in the leader's pit.
Yeah, Mike, that car that Matt Kenseth is driving, the car in the lead, he won with this very same car last year here at Dover and then again at Charlotte. This year, the only place he's run it is Las Vegas.
Jimmy Spencer underneath Elton Sawyer. And that's for 10th place, excuse me.
You know, I'm watching Harvick, our leader. There's Spencer in the 98, but I've been watching the leader here, and Harvick has moved way up on the racetrack now, kind of in that almost Harry Gant groove, not quite, and closing back up on Greg Biffle, or I'm sorry, Matt Kenseth.
Right,
get all this right in a minute.
He's maintaining about the same speed. In fact, a couple laps he was just a tick quicker than Matt Kenseth, so he's figured it out. But that's a good race car driver, Darrell. You move that car around where it wants to be run, and will perform the best.
Yeah, it's nothing that the crew can do for you. If it's pushing or loose, it's up to the driver to get the most out of it, and that driver has to find the place on the track where it works.
And I hope Harry's watching, because this used to be his racetrack. When it was asphalt, he would run it right up around the rim. One year, they even thought they might not paint any signage on the wall because Harry just scrape it off up there between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
On the top of the racetrack.
Boy, we got a battle for 6 here. Jeff Purvis in the 18. Mike Skinner in that 21. He's going to take the position down the backstretch, and we're coming to halfway. That will make it an official race.
And a happy sigh goes up all up and down the top row of the suites in the commentary and officials box, because we're halfway and it's only taken us 4.5 hours.
What I miss most about this track not being asphalt is when we used to run around here, run the high groove, low groove, wherever, and smoking the tires. I mean, this was one of those places where you'd swear there was something wrong with the car. The tires would be smoking so bad from digging through these corners.
But I always wanted to see that right rear smoking just a little bit. I never wanted to see that right front smoking, because that meant that car was pushing and not turning.
Richard Petty could smoke a left front tire. No, it's the only guy I ever saw that could do that.
24 of the 43 starters are on the lead lap. We have 7 cars in the garage, make that 9 cars in the garage area at halfway. And a couple more running that have been damaged earlier in the race. So the attrition fairly high as you watch Matt Kenseth 1 second out in front of Kevin Harvick. There are the drivers out of the race. Half of them went out in the lap 11 crash, triggered when Tim Fedewa got into the wall. Fedewa is out there still running. So we're just past halfway. Kenseth, Harvick, Biffle, Steve Park from 38th to 4th, and Jeff Green, the point leader and pole sitter, 5th. Welcome back to Dover, where Matt Kenseth leads Kevin Harvick by 0.7 of a second. Greg Biffle is 3rd, and he's fallen to 4.5 seconds back. Let's look at the Bushwhackers, the Winston Cup drivers who also compete in the Busch Series, or the Double Dippers, as we call them here on Fox. Kenseth and Harvick running 1-2. Steve Park up to 4th. Skinner, Spencer, Kenny Wallace, Hamilton Jr., and LePage and Buckshot Jones. Which leads us to our Pep Boys trivia. Only one driver has won the Busch and Cup race at Dover Downs in the same weekend.
I think we talked about him a while ago. Is his name Harry Gant?
It certainly is. September 1991.
I didn't see the sheet either, did I? Yeah, that's Hammond that looked at the sheet, not Larry.
Harry Gant did it.
He everything in September of '91.
Yes, he did.
I have no comment.
That might have been the year that he discarded the nickname second place Harry or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Runner-up Harry or second place Harry.
That's the year he became Mr. September.
Mr. September.
That's right.
I'll see you in September. Buckshot Jones in that 00 is going to lap down.
Now, moments ago, if you were Bill Bumgarner and owned the 74 and the 33 cars, what was your reaction to this?
Go, no, boys.
Here's another look.
Wow. Thank goodness this racetrack's wide.
Now, the 63 of Shane Hall was slowing and trying to get to pit road. And did.
Alone. He almost took somebody with him.
He almost had all three of them almost.
Yeah.
Went to pit road. Steve?
Well, Mike, the last time Jeff Purvis pitted, his jackman, Brian Chase, was brushed by the 92 car of Jimmy Johnson as he entered his pit. Brian Chase has gone to the infield care center to be examined. He is being replaced by Brian Perry, who has come over from the number 92 Winston Cup team to fill in.
Thanks, Steve. A light sprinkle, our helicopter pilot relaying the signals from the inboard cameras like the one you're seeing now, saying a light sprinkle up at altitude, but don't see anything on the lens of our roof cam.
The vortex.
Oh, yeah, the heat vortex.
It can't hit the ground.
Someday you'll believe me.
You got the vortex.
What we're talking about early in the show, we said the truck race got in and it didn't rain because going around a mile, they create a vortex of heat that rises and helps keep the rain away. Well, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Tony Raines, that 33 car, he's starting to lose some positions here. This is he's in 18th. That's Marty Houston in 11 car. That's the wrong way. You don't want to see it that way. You want to see that reversed. Started 8th today again by virtue of the points.
Yeah, and more likely the car's just gotten loose. You can deal with a car a little too tight here a lot better than you can when that bad boy gets loose.
Rains back to 18th. 22 cars are on the lead lap. You'll see Matt Kenseth tomorrow on Fox. The MBNA Platinum 400 coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern Time.
Boy, you know, Darrell, we talked about seeing Matt Kenseth and several others tomorrow that are running in this Busch race today. If I was a Winston Cup crew chief, sky's getting dark. Still no race practice for the Winston Cup cars. Final practice a little iffy right now. I'd feel good about my boy running in this Busch race.
You got that right. And I'd be down there roaming at pits, too, checking on those tires, see what kind of situation they got.
And you bet there'll be a crowd of Roush Racing drivers around Kenseth when he comes in from this race, because they'll all want to know.
What'd you have? What springs you run?
Right.
What shocks was on there? What air pressure did you run?
Now, Tony Raines is going to go a lap down here. He's the 18th place car.
And, you know, he was really up in the order there for a long time, so that car has definitely gone off big time. He's going to need some of that sponsor stuff there before long.
He and Marty Houston falling off the lead lap. There's the wounded car of Kevin Grubb. 9th place battle, Jimmy Spencer battling Scott Wimmer.
Spencer's been doing a good job. He just keeps trucking along. He picks one off every now and then, holding his own, and got a decent looking race car.
Next Busch race in 2 weeks at Kentucky Speedway. Jimmy Spencer not going to drive this car because the Cup cars will be in Pocono. Joe Ruttman from the Truck Series is going to be in this car.
Boy, you know, in that Kentucky race, they got over $1 million purse there, guys, and the winner's going to get $82,000 for that Saturday night event. So that's going to be a great weekend up there.
And you'll see it on FX. We get to do a little double dipping.
Yeah, Mike and I are going to be there for the race, and then we're going to hop on an airplane and we're going to run straight up to Pocono and do that race with Larry.
I'll be at Pocono on Saturday with Jimmy Spencer on pit road.
Jimmy Spencer you will be with Jimmy Spencer when you said that right.
All right, here's your leader, Kenseth. It's 1.7 seconds back to Kevin Harvick. A total of 4.6 seconds back to Greg Biffle, a silver and red car. Steve Park, 7 seconds off the lead in white and red, and then the 21 of Mike Skinner, who was 11.5 seconds back. Dick?
Well, Skinner restarted 14th after that pit stop, Mike. He's now running in 5th spot. They pulled the left rear rubber out of the car during the last stop, and it's obviously working for him. He is also
right front. Skinner never forgets either. He was in a big crash here last fall when he suffered a tire failure.
The weather situation is improving. There's a bit of blue sky, and the skies are lightening once again, even though there's a raindrop here and there. Chad Little, the 17th place car, goes a lap down to the onrush of Matt Kenseth, who now leads Kevin Harvick by 1.5 seconds. But Harvick is starting to close back in. We'll be right back to Dover. Rain is beginning to fall once more at Dover Downs, and at lap 127, 1 lap ago, caution is out for the 5th time today.
Now remember, we're past halfway. Jimmy Spencer, though, on the lead lap, he was in 9th in the 1 car. He's on pit road. A lot of the guys at the back of the lead lap pitted, Darrell. A lot of them at the front, looking at the sky, looking at the watch, thinking about darkness, seeing the rain, decided to stay out right now.
Yeah, if you're to back, I mean, you come in now. Then if it goes back to green, the guys in the front will have to come in, and then you're back in the front. So it's a gamble, but it could be a good one.
Now Elton Sawyer slid through his pits on the slickness there of pit road. Jason Keller backing into his stall. Jimmy Johnson's in. Scott Wimmer, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Jimmy Spencer are the lead lap cars that pitted on this first lap of caution.
And as long as you get your car in the proper spot in the box before they start the work, it's not a penalty.
And you know, with all the confusion, when you'd think if the car's out of the box, the wheels are out of the box, whatever, you would think it would be easy to get it back in the box. But with all the work going on, sometimes you just overlook the fact that you're out of the box.
This light bit of rain is coming right over to the eastern shore and stalling, and these clouds are building up, and that's why we're getting this shower activity. At least that's my guess.
And what happened to the vortex, Willard?
Well, there's enough hot air around here. It certainly should be fine, but
then we could roll the windows down, right?
That's right.
Open up the hotel down there and let that hot air out, and that'll vortex it right on out of here.
All right, lap down cars are pitting now. Steve?
Well, Mike, remember before the race started, Matt Yoakum said that there was some confusion about the black line, which was actually the pit box prior to the black asphalt. The 57, when he backed into his stall, was outside the black line. So NASCAR is going to make him back up even again. He decided to go around, take another lap, so Keller is back in to get his work done. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Matt Kenseth's crew is trying to play the rain card, and they're not sure whether they should pit or not. They've got weather radar up here, and it has gone back and forth. Pit, don't pit, pit, don't pit. Same thing with Harvick. They just don't know what to do. Here's why. If they pit and it rains from here on, they're going to lose the race. If they stay out and it rains out, they might win the race. On the other hand, fresh tires help everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Kenseth, nothing to worry about. He don't run all the races. His car runs all the races, but if I'm Matt Kenseth, I'm going to stay out there till I see one to go.
Yeah, me too.
Tires with tread would help right now. You see a lot of the racetrack has a little bit of gray area to it, and that's still fairly dry. But if they lose the racetrack and there's a significant water buildup, we keep going around here under caution. The conditions are going to get a little slickery, Dick.
Well, Robbie Reiser has just walked through his pit area, and they are going to play the rain. They are hoping that they're just going to park the car and win the race. And a whole bunch of people behind him are waiting to see what that 17 of Kenseth is going to do.
You know, we played with rain tires only at the road courses, Watkins Glen and Sonoma, and did it with some success. But here on the ovals, you know, they have tread on the rain tires. The wear factor is just too great on an oval track.
Yeah, the road course is flat. All you do is stop and start there, sort of drive in and brake and accelerate off. Rain tires work pretty good under those conditions, but not on a bank racetrack like this. You'd wear the rubber right off of them, and we're hearing that they're going to bring them into the pits and stop the race.
So this will be the second stoppage for rain this afternoon. The first one was at lap 2. Jeff?
Guys, we keep talking about the pit box, even though pit road's slick, what you can and cannot do. I've got the official card once again so that you can take a look and see that this is okay. This is the only thing you can do. You can have the right rear hanging outside your pit box. That is okay. Anything else, the nose being over, the right front tire being out, or the right side tires being outside the box, you can't do that. You either got to go around or it's a one-lap penalty.
So, Jeff, this would be, let's look at this would be okay. That is acceptable?
That right there, that picture right there, the 61 car is okay. That's not a problem right there. He can do that. As you can see right here on the card right here, the right rear is out in this right here, but the front tire and the front nose of the car is well within the box. And you got to understand something. This is all for safety reasons. This is all for safety reasons.
And as you can see down on pit road, Jeff, they're bringing in the cars. This would be another, obviously, interruption by rain. We had a 2.5-hour rain delay after a couple of caution laps to start things. Matt Kenseth currently leading Harvick and Biffle. And what is the process at this moment?
Well, right now, everybody is sitting there wondering, okay, your rhythm's broken again. We talked about early in the race that it's very, very, tough to keep going like we're going right now. It's not safe enough to continue the race. Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick, they've elected to stay out. The guys that have already pitted, everybody's pushing and shoving right now to wait to see what's going to happen if this shower is going to pass over and can we complete this race.
Right, and not to play weatherman, but as you can see, we have the blue sky behind those clouds, so this looks more like a sun shower, and most of the rain, at least on the graphic of the weather map, it was along the shore, and so we should be able to complete this race again. This racetrack does not have lights, so this will affect whether the Winston Cup cars get their tune-up in, their happy hour, which would be a rainy hour. It's been a rainy day, but we do have racing, and Matt Kenseth is currently your leader as they rush to dry things off. You're watching NASCAR on FX, and we'll be back in a moment. Hunter, there's a look at Greg Biffle. Was on our pre-race show, and he talked about the rumors about him leaving Roush Racing. He said no way, but there may be another driver, and he's the guy leading currently, whose name has been tossed around about maybe going to Richard Childress.
There has been a lot of speculation that Matt Kenseth may be someone who may be ready for a move, and whether or not that's going to happen is be real interesting. I know that Matt has not been as happy as he'd like to be as far as working with Roush, but he is, probably ready to either move on or, get to winning. I know that's what he really wants to do. He wants to get on a winner's deal.
Right now he's in the lead, Matt Kenseth, 131 laps through. As we look at Jimmy Spencer's car, what are they doing here, Jeff?
I can't really tell right there. It looks like they're working on air pressure, but at the same time, that must be what they're going to do, and I don't think that necessarily they're happy with that situation.
Jeff, remember now that Spencer's he's going to be leading the race when all these other guys pit. The guy this is a tire guy. He don't have an air tank with him. He's letting air pressure out of this right front tire. I think they're getting set up for this last 60 laps, possibly for the car being too tight.
Well, I'm just kind of surprised right now that NASCAR's allowing them to do that out there on pit road.
Why is that, Jeff? Is there a rule that...
I mean, like I say, that's a good thing for them, but I just don't think that if I was one of the other teams, he's already made his pit stop, and yet he's still making adjustments to the car. And you do what you got to do. If I was Johnny Allen, I'd be doing the same thing if that's what I needed to do to win this race.
And we are just about, looks like, getting ready to go as the drivers are in place.
Well,
and
Jeff,
Derek, go ahead.
Yeah, sometimes when they stop the cars on pit road, the one thing they will allow you to do is check your tires.
I agree with that, Darrell, but you think about it like this right here. They're actually stopped.
See, everybody's doing it.
But at the same time, with the situation, him already making his pit stop, I'm surprised they'd let him do it that easily.
Yeah, but I remember on a number of occasions when they stop the cars on pit road, they'll always kind of say it. You can do everything.
If everybody's doing it, I can understand now why they're not really concerned too much with it.
Right.
I know sometimes in the past, and Larry will tell you the same thing. They'll tell you, you're not allowed to make any adjustments to the car. It's probably the reason why the guy was running. They weren't prepared for it.
All right, let's get on to Dick Bergen, who's with Harold Holley, and he'll help us out on this. Go ahead, Dick.
So what are the rules? If you want to stop now and make a pit stop, what can you do?
Well, we just need to free it back up where we started the race. We started the race pretty loose in that first about 36 green flag laps. And, we over-adjusted a little bit and got it pushing the right front. We know what pushing the right front does here, so we just didn't want to blow a right front tire out, so we took it kind of easy there. But I think I know where we need to be at. We're going to go back to where we started, and track bar was a big adjustment on that last stop, so we're going to go back to where we started.
What can you do while you're sitting out here under the tarps? What will NASCAR let you do to the race cars?
Nothing.
Can't even check the tire pressure?
Nah, holler back and forth to your driver. If you get too close, they'll slap you on the hand for that.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys taking tire pressures that we're seeing. Is sure that's okay?
Well, before they send you back out on the racetrack, they'll let you check them. But while we're just sitting there under the rain delay, you're not supposed to touch anything on the race car.
Okay, well, you're going to get a good chance to check them because those 4 tires are coming off that race car.
All right, Thanks very much. But, Jeff, we just saw somebody adjusting some tape, so some people are stretching.
I told you, all bets are off.
All right. We'll keep an eye on things. So the cameras are everywhere. We're in a rain delay. We'll get back to finishing things up if the weather cooperates. And thank you for staying with us. You're watching NASCAR Busch Racing on FX from Dover, Delaware. FX welcomes you back to Dover, Delaware, located between Philadelphia and Baltimore. And that might be a Baltimore Oriole. And we're approaching the dinner hour. Hopefully, you've already eaten. What's that old? The early bird gets less sleep, I think is how the expression goes. That bird's been around a while because it's been 4 hours plus our second rain delay. We're getting ready to go again as the skies are cooperating for the moment. Let's go back upstairs. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Walter. No?
We've had amateur meteorologists on this show, ornithologists on this show. What's next?
Now, even though we're back under caution, we see the leaders did not come to pit road. Pit road is closed right now. I won't even go there. Pit road is closed right now because they're trying to drive pit road. But those 8 cars will be on pit road. But you know, we talked about 8 fast cars, 8 slower cars. One car that did pit had been consistently in the top 5 was Mike Skinner in that 21 car. He's already been to pit road, got his 4 tires.
So the drivers who pitted when the caution for rain first came out were Jimmy Spencer, Scott Wimmer, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Elton Sawyer, Mike Skinner, Jason Keller, and David Green. The 8 who stayed on the racetrack on the lead lap: Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, and Steve Park, along with Jeff Green, Jeff Purvis, Randy LaJoie, and Kenny Wallace. They're at the front of the pack right now, but when pit road opens, they will be in. Second red flag for
this time.
30 minutes and 33 seconds. The average speed of this race is now down to about 50 miles an hour.
Just as long as it doesn't turn into a couple of days, we'll be all right.
Yeah, the green flag is waving, signifying pit road is open, so we've got at least 8 cars to pit road.
And that's when you're Jimmy Spencer and some of the others that pitted earlier are saying, good call, man, good call, nice call.
Matt?
Greg Osborne goes to work on the right front, while Mikey Atwell goes to work on the right rear. They are making a track bar adjustment, going up to try to loosen up this number 31 car of Steve Park. Let's go to Dick Berger.
Matt Kenseth's on pit road right now. His crew chief, Russ Strupp, is the jack man. When he drops the jack on the left side, that'll be the signal. Slow, very slow on Kenseth. They had called for no mistakes, but Kenseth had one very slow on the right rear. Strupp, the jack man, when he drops, Kenseth is going to go, but some others are going to be out before him.
He'll drop a couple of spots there. Jeff Green got out ahead of him. So did Rich Bickle or excuse me, not Bickle, but Greg Biffle and Jeff Purvis.
And there's the man that won the battle off pit road, Kevin Harvick, in that 2 car. That group gives him great pit stops every time he comes to pit road.
Got a long way to go to get to the front.
He's now the 9th place car. And in 1 lap, we're going racing.
Got some pretty good cars up there you got to deal with. Spencer and Wimmer, Jimmy Johnson, Bobby Jr., and others, including Mike Skinner.
So the rain has played half with the whole day here. Those who thought the sun would come back out pitted when the rain first appeared. And there's our young 15-year-old junior flagman, Robbie Blauen, who he has not left his post all day. Come rain or come shine.
Tell him that the track is okay. He's got his okay signal out, and he's waving them on. Let's go, boys. Close it up.
Yeah, he even flagged the truck race this morning. He's had a longer day than we have, if you can believe that.
And he's got all of his flags in right there. Look, there's the whole array of flags. Got a whole complement of flags, and he's got his green flag in his hand, and he's ready to go racing.
And so are we.
Double file restart here. We'll get the restart with about 65 laps to go. Everybody could make it from here. NASCAR gave the teams 3 sets of tires to use under caution. They have now used 2 of these sets.
Now, Larry, I know that the concrete's not heat sensitive, but we do have sunshine for the first time today.
Yes, we do.
Much warmer here in the booth, so I got to believe it's a little warmer out there on the racetrack.
And I won't say all the rubber got washed off, but a little bit of it got washed off. But we're going green flag racing, pace car off, double file restart. The man that don't forget will bring him to the green flag.
65 laps to go. Jimmy Spencer, the veteran, leading rookie Scott Wimmer, and we're back under green.
Jimmy needs a good restart here. He needs to be able to get down in front of Chad Little if he can, open up as much distance as he can, as quickly as he can, because those guys back in the field are going to be closing fast.
Spencer does just that off turn 2.
Got a good restart. Now he needs to drive away from these guys if he can do it. This is the time to make hay, buddy.
While the sun shines.
While the sun shines.
The sunshine and the track temperature has raised to 81 degrees. Earlier it was 78 degrees. A little bit of increase in track temperature.
And that can change the setup of these cars ever so slightly. You know, guys adjusted their cars on this last pit stop based on what they knew from the conditions earlier. So good car can go bad right now.
Here's a battle for 5th now. Mike Skinner in the 21. Elton Sawyer in that 98 car. Remember, Skinner had a fast race car. He elected to come to pit road, get his fresh tires, get the advantage on the guys behind him.
This allows the front 4 to get away.
Mike had to, he kind of put a little dart kind of to the right there on Elton to get a little room to get up in front of him.
Now well back in 9th and 10th are Harvick and Green.
And again, these are all good cars back in here, and you're not going to just drive around them. It's going to take a little time to get them set up and get past them.
Matt Kenseth, after that tough pit stop, 13th.
And when you put fresh tires on any car, you put fresh tires on all these cars, they're going to run pretty good for several laps.
Spencer can't hold the bottom. Wimmer gets past him. Johnson gets past him. Here comes Hamilton.
Boy, he just slid up out of the bottom, and the round they went.
Mike Skinner's going to go by him. Be a battle for 4th right there. Look at Skinner back to the throttle. That's where you beat people at Dover, Delaware. Getting back to that throttle, coming up out of that hill, staying on the throttle.
Scott Wimmer, the rookie, is the new leader.
Well, we heard his crew chief say, yeah, I think we might be able to pull this thing off if the kid can do it.
Trying to bring Bill Davis's team to victory for the first time this year.
A talented little guy. I mean, I saw him won a couple of ASA races last year, and been doing a whale of a job for Bill Davis. Got a pretty fast little hot rod there, too.
He's trying to put Chad Little in the 74 car back a lap down. He was on the tail end of the lead lap. He's in 17th spot.
Now, the trouble for Matt Kenseth and the rest of these cars that just pitted, as he battles Jeff Purvis, this is for position, it's for 12th. Not only do they have to beat the cars that pitted ahead of them, they have to beat the lap down cars that restarted up in front of them double wide. They've got to go through all that traffic to get up to the leaders.
It makes it tough because they want to run the bottom of the racetrack through the corners as well.
Well, there's about a turn difference. The cars are coming off the 4 when Kenseth and Harvick are going into 3, so they're about a turn ahead of those 2 cars.
To Dick Berggren about Jeff Green.
Jeff Green got really lucky on that rain. Look at this. This is his left front tire. A little tiny piece out of that left front tire. Had the rain not happened, had the caution not occurred, had he not come in and changed, it could have been a big problem for him.
Wow. Right down to the cords.
Chunk that baby.
This is the 5th race that Scott Wimmer has led this year. Bill Davis has quite an eye for talent. Jeff Gordon being one of those that he brought to the forefront of this sport, up to Busch Grand National Racing, lost him to Rick Hendrick.
I'll tell you right now, Chad Little's working on him, trying to get back around him, though. And he doesn't need that. He doesn't need for Chad to get it back in front of him, because that could hold him up, and he's really loosening him up as he comes off the corner.
Chad Little is 17th. The first car 1 lap down.
Ooh, and he's tucked right in there.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that makes you loose on exit. Gets that air up off the back of that car.
Trying to rattle the rookie. And Wimmer may just let him go, but it may cost him the lead.
The problem with that is can you get back down in line? And obviously you can't.
Jimmy Johnson in the 92, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 26, and Mike Skinner in the 21. They got Scott Wimmer on the high side. They're going to kick him all the way back to about 3rd or 4th. Jimmy Spencer in that 1 car, look at him, gets all over the back bumper of Mike Skinner in the 21.
I think Spencer's car was just too tight on those new tires on the start. His car could get better as they go along here, and the pressure would build up a little bit.
And remember, we saw his tire guy letting the air out of the right side tires. You're right, Darrell. Took a few laps for that car to come in.
The fellows who love seeing this are Kevin Harvick, Jeff Green, and Matt Kenseth. There is Kenseth working over Green. There's traffic ahead. Marty Houston on the high side. So they get back to single file entering turn 3.
Now they're a half a turn behind. Exiting turn 4, the leader is. They were in the middle of 3 and 4. So they are definitely making time. And Biffle's right there with them
in the 60 car.
Jimmy Johnson is the 5th different leader today. That Herzog Motorsports 92, but Hamilton Jr. right there with him.
First and second place right there, and Bobby Hamilton Jr., you know, he's picked up the ride in the 33 car for Andy Petrie and doing a great job.
Nobody can run with you.
Now he's trying to loosen Johnson up.
He's definitely all over that rear bumper. You can see when they come off the corner, Johnson get a little bit squirrely there.
Well, that Dr. Pepper car has been fast all year long. They've had problems with closing the deal. They get down there at the end of the race, and they've had a lot of problems. Maybe today's his day.
Boy, he is loosening Jimmy Johnson up from the center off that corner. Right here, runs up on him, gets on that left rear quarter panel. Watch him, see him fighting it in there, Jimmy Johnson.
You can't stand it. When the car gets up under the back of you like that, it lifts the back of the car up. And, buddy, when you exit a corner with somebody up under you like that, it's hard to hold the car.
Now, Hamilton never touched him, but the air that Jimmy Johnson needs to flow over and push down on the rear spoiler, with Hamilton so close, that air goes right up and over Hamilton's car.
Boy, and Mike Skinner stuck his nose in there. Hamilton saw him and almost cut down in front of him. They did a good job avoiding an accident right there.
Yeah, it takes the rear downforce away when they're tucked up behind you right there. All the rear downforce on that rear spoiler.
And Bobby Hamilton wants to look to the outside now. He seems like thinks he can make a better run on the outside.
Jimmy Johnson has his hands full with Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Sometime when a guy protects that bottom like Jimmy's doing, you can get a run up on the corner and make a move on the outside.
Meanwhile, Kenseth has passed Green.
Here he goes for the lead. Bobby Jr., he kind of diamonded that corner off that time.
Mike Skinner all the way at the bottom of the racetrack. He's right on the left rear quarter. He's going to bring Jimmy Spencer in the 1 car with him. This is a battle for second.
And in the meantime, Harvick and Kenseth continue to close.
Yeah, Kenseth got past Jeff Green and is the quickest car on the racetrack right now. There he is underneath Harvick.
Right up beside of Harvick.
We've seen this before today, and last time it was settled in favor of Kenseth.
Well, they were fighting for the lead then.
Right.
Boy, he got Harvick loose right there.
Wow. That's being right on him and run him in the corner just a little hard.
Behind them, Steve Park coming hard, but still has Green and Biffle to deal with and may run out of time. There are just 47 laps to go.
Well, Bobby Hamilton is really starting to stretch out just a little bit.
And no further rain in sight, Darrell. I think we'll get the rest of this in.
Yeah, I think we will. And Bobby Hamilton's car looks really good right now. Watch this. Whoa.
See, he didn't get against him, but he took the air off that rear spoiler, and took the rear downforce
That's
away.
one of those deals where the spotter says, clear, clear. Oh, he's there, and you got to give him room because you get into that left rear quarter panel going in there, and buddy's going to turn you around.
Bobby Hamilton Jr., the 8th driver to lead this race. 46 to go here in Dover. This is NASCAR on FX. We are under caution at lap 159. The handling on Jeff Green's car had been deteriorating, and he'd been pushing higher and higher up the racetrack each time. And going into turn 1, something happened, and he found his way to the wall. Putting us under caution.
He didn't knock it down, but he sure did get into it pretty hard. A lot of right side damage. He slides up there, and just glances off of it. But it's done quite a bit of damage to that car. He's certainly not going to be in contention.
Now, some lead lap cars have pitted on this caution. Jeff Purvis is in, and so is Jason Keller.
And Chad Little, who made his lap up when that caution came out. Of course, obviously, Jeff Green's on pit road as well. It's a long way from the bottom of the racetrack to the top of it, isn't it,
it is. And, of course, again, folks, you know, Chad Little did exactly what he needed to do. He stayed out in front of those leaders and got a lucky break and got his lap back.
Jeff Green was the points leader coming into this race.
Going right into behind the wall there. They got pretty significant damage.
Now he may be out of this race. They can make repairs from behind the wall and return.
40 laps to go. Sure they'll be able to get it back out there, but they're going to lose a lot of valuable time.
Jeff Green had a run of 7 straight top 10 finishes. But if he falls out of the race now, Kevin Harvick would retake the point lead.
Well, Harvick had, you know, some bad luck last week at Charlotte. And it just kind of goes around. But you've got 3 really strong contenders here for the championship. And it'll probably change again before they get to halfway of the season.
Tables turn in a short time.
40 laps to go in the MBNA 200 at Dover Downs as they work to try and get Jeff Green back on track.
Welcomes you back, getting ready for the conclusion of the MBNA 200. But tonight on FX Saturday Baseball, Tony Clark of the Tigers going against Maglio Ordonez and the White Sox in a clash between AL Central Division rivals. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on FX. And watch the entire baseball season unfold across the Fox networks. You'll see the All-Star Game of the World Series on Fox. Let's go out to Dick Berkering quickly.
Well, last week's winner is in big trouble right now. Jeff Green's right front brake rotor is completely broken off the car. There is an oil line that is crushed in the suspension components. He is behind the wheel still with his helmet on, telling Harold Holly he just wants to get out and run a few more laps. This car is, however, very, very badly damaged.
And he may fall, Dick, he might fall another 6 positions and finish as low as 29th in this race if he's unable to rejoin. 38 laps to go. We're getting set for the restart. Bobby Hamilton Jr., the 8th leader of this race, is up front. Greg Biffle, that man right there, back in 10th. Kevin Harvick 8th. Steve Park 9th among the drivers who have led. Jimmy Spencer 3rd. Mike Skinner 2nd. Hamilton Jr., the leader. Here we go.
There he is. Green flag. 37 laps to go.
Boy, Skinner is all over the back and didn't get the greatest restart in the world. Sometimes you ride around here and pick up that debris and you just won't go. You won't spin the tires. It may have happened to Bobby Jr. on that start, but you got to give him a good, I mean, he's doing a great job. He's out front. Got Skinner on his back bumper.
Then you got Tony Raines trying to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's 1 down.
That's the line. The lower the better. You can't be there.
Keep it low, buddy. That's what he's telling you.
Make them go around you on the outside.
The lower's the better. Oh!
One car slips up in turn 2. Buckshot Jones, but he gathers it back up. They accordion behind him. Everybody's okay. 3 wide into turn 3. Matt Kenseth threaded the needle.
But he knows he's running out of laps here. He's got to get to the front. He's got a fast race car. He cannot mess around with cars backing off or lap traffic.
Well, that was Greg Biffle back. Those 2 O's was, one of them was for Greg Biffle because he got knocked around a little bit there.
Now here's the distance from Hamilton, the leader. Looking on back. You got to see this again. That was quite a move.
It's down in turn 2.
Whoops and whoops. Man,
boy, look at Biffle in the 6th.
Way down on the apron. He lost a lot of time there. Got racing going on everywhere. Bumping and a grinding and a slipping and a sliding.
Well, these fans deserve it. They've sat through 2 rain delays. Gotten soggy, gotten dry. They deserve to see some good racing, and they are as this one closes down. 33 laps to go.
And Biffle's really kind of lost the handle. And again, I believe some of that could be just a product of the weather change from the overcast, cool, cloudy conditions to some bright sunshine right now, Larry.
Yeah, it's definitely, the track is going through a transition right now. The rubber's starting to get back on the racetrack, and that sun's been beating down on it about 30 minutes.
But meanwhile, back at the ranch, I mean, trouble over there, the 7 car, turn 3.
Randy LaJoie pounded the wall.
Caution is out again.
Man.
So with 32 to go, we are back under caution. Can Tony Raines get back on the lead lap? Nope, he's got to pass 2 to do it. And I think he'll run out of time. Nope, he's going to make it.
He's going to make it. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the 26 let Tony Raines in the 33 have his lap back.
Well, he was trying to get around here close enough to the start line where Skinner wouldn't get him, so really was playing it well.
What happened to Randy LaJoie here?
He's coming down the backstretch into turn 3, DW.
It's in there a little on the outside. Whoa, he just gets together with the
Tim Sauter.
Tim Sauter there. Just didn't have enough room to make that pass on the outside. It was a little early to be getting on the outside. They're getting in the corner.
But Darrell, you talked about that earlier, about closing speed as you're racing slower cars.
Oh, yeah, there's such a difference. Whoa, they just...
I believe LaJoy was okay. Tim Sauter just looked like come up on it.
It looked like maybe that LaJoy being there made the back of Sauter's car come around just a little bit, and they made contact. A lot of damage. You just don't hit... Every time you hit the wall here is a lot of damage.
Pit road is open. All of our leaders are staying out. We may see some at the back of the pack, like Tony Raines that just got his lap back come in for 4 tires. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Mike Skinner, Jimmy Spencer, Elton Sawyer, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, Steve Park, all those cars staying out. Jason Keller continuing to adjust on his car and staying on the lead lap. And the 33, Tony Raines, is on pit road.
The 7 cars just had a terrible day. Just not a normal day for that car. Jason Keller.
So Raines will replace LaJoy on the lead lap. We'll still have 16 cars on the lead lap when we go back to green. 30 to go now. So with the track under caution, we'll take a quick break and be back hopefully for the restart. Bobby Hamilton Jr. continues to lead Mike Skinner, and we're just 30 laps from the checkered flag. They've just taken the green for the restart. Mike Skinner battled Bobby Hamilton to turn 1, couldn't get into the corner underneath him, and now he's second.
And what I was impressed, Darrell, Bobby Hamilton, he drove that thing down to turn 1, but it stuck. He ran that second groove, and it stuck and got a good run off turn 2.
Skinner made him drive off in there.
Yes.
He didn't have any options. Skinner was there, and if he didn't want to run into him, he better get it down in there, and he got it in well.
Matt Kenseth, who has been the fastest car on the racetrack, is now 6th.
Yeah, he just continues to move up, and he's so much faster than these other guys. It's just a matter of time. These cautions are really not helping Bobby Jr. at all.
Still 16 cars on the lead lap. Randy LaJoy still working on his car in the pits, as Kenseth almost got together with Jimmy Johnson in the middle of turn 4 there.
Yeah, he made that big, he just shot up there to him, but there wasn't enough room to get by.
Time running out. 26 laps to go.
Yeah, the good thing about the cautions is it's saving the tires. So, you know, your car, if it's good on the short run, this could work out real well. Trouble down the back, guys. Trouble down the back.
One car sideways. Tim Sauter. Everybody's going to miss him.
Caution is on the Speedway again.
A couple of cars got together back there, and Sauter paid the price. I believe it was the 38 car, Christian Elder.
8th caution of the day. That ties the record for this race. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the lead, trying to become the 13th driver to score their first Busch Series win at Dover.
See, we can see what happened. They were racing down there. I saw the smoke start to fly. Oh, yeah. Elder and Sauter got together, and
all the way down the backstretch.
Boy, those guys.
Chad Little in the 74 and his teammate Tony Raines in the 33, both of them back on the lead lap, just got by.
Great job of driving from everybody to keep them getting into that.
A look from turn 3.
Boy, DW, that's the kind of wreck we talked about it earlier. One car, it's amazing. 5, 6, 7 more wasn't in that wreck.
Oh, yeah. It should have been.
Go low,
from Jeff Purvis.
Whoa, go low.
Because you know it's eventually going to come low. You better go real low.
Yeah, these tracks have this track has a self-cleaning banking. No matter where you are, you're going to end up at the bottom.
Christian Elder in the 38 car, of course, involved in that wreck with Tim Sauter. He's on pit road. Angie Skinner, Mike's wife, saying, Mike, can you get him here in about 22 or 23 laps?
Best shot is on the restart, looks to me like.
Yes, we can. Answers that question.
The man
24 laps to go. We'll be right back. Hey, I'm stuck. Somebody call me a wrecker. That is the wrecker. Hey, somebody call me a wrecker.
All right, restart here. Looks to me like if Skinner has got any shot at all, Bobby Jr., he's going to have to do it on the restart. Bobby Jr. don't get going real good.
Of course, he's got the lap cars of Marty Houston, Kevin LePage to deal with here on the restart.
23 laps to go.
That 11 car helped him. He had a run on him, but...
yeah, Hamilton used Houston as a pick to hold off Skinner. Spencer gets around Houston. Here comes Elton Sawyer in that green car.
Skinner looking on the inside as they head down the back. He's got a nose there.
Yow! He's there.
He's got the line. They
gets him. And Spencer comes through for the lead.
Oh, whoa.
Everybody's going to miss Hamilton. Don't ask me how. But we're back under caution for contact between Mike Skinner and Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Poor kid, it's just been his Achilles heel, is closing the deal. And the restarts, he just hadn't been able to get going. Give him a lap or so and he could get away from Skinner, but Skinner's right there on him on every restart.
Of course, Jimmy Spencer in that one car taking advantage of these cars getting together. Bobby Hamilton Jr. in a 26 trying to get to pit road. He's sitting just past the entrance of pit road. He knows there's no sense in trying to make another lap around the racetrack.
I'm not sure that that was all the intentions he had at that moment.
I know where you're going. Well, let's have a look
at that 21 car.
Well, Hamilton left the bottom open.
Yeah, he's got a nose.
Skinner's there.
He's got a nose in there. He comes. Well, there's really. Ooh, Mike just gets up into him. That's what happens. I mean, you can't really fault Mike for sticking a nose in there, but the car slid up just enough. It got into Bobby Jr.
And everybody scatters to miss Hamilton. Another look. You see Skinner.
Car move up.
Coming up.
He just pushed up. He got into the side of him. Bobby gave him room. Mike just got in there hard underneath of him. And two cars side by side here. It's hard for that bottom car not to get up into that one on the outside. Plus, they both drove in there. I'm sure Mike drove in really hard because he knows this is his opportunity, and he had to try to capitalize.
How about Spencer for being in the right place at the right time to take advantage?
Oh, Spence shot right through there, didn't he?
Now let's ride with Matt Kenseth.
Side trouble. Keep coming. Keep coming. Keep coming. You clear. You clear the road. Yellow is out. Yellow, yellow, yellow.
From Kenny Wallace.
Watch, watch, watch. Check it up. Check it up. Go, 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 go.
You know he's going to go to the bottom. You're just not sure when and how fast he's going to get there.
Steve Burns.
20 crew members down here in the number 26 bits of Bobby Hamilton Jr. The big problem they have right now, Mike, is the left front would not turn. They pulled the tire off. Lots of sheet metal damage to the left rear. Just bitter disappointment now with these guys. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Mike Skinner has his own problems with the number 21 car. The steering wheel is not straight in that car anymore, and that always means that the front end has moved out of alignment. They have asked the spotters around the racetrack what it looks like. Of course, they said everything is just fine. But imagine the anxiety as Skinner stands on it to go into the first corner on this green flag.
And folks, when we talk about the steering wheel, drivers are just like it's just like your passenger car. When you're driving straight down the interstate, you don't want the spokes one way or another. You want the wheel to be centered up. And when we hit something, then we have to compensate by holding the steering wheel in a different position. And that's how you know your front end's knocked out of line.
And normally what's happened, the weak link is a tie rod that goes from the drag length out to the wheels. One of those is bent, and that's what throws the steering off. And we're hearing that Jeff Green came in here as our points leader, is officially out of the race in the 10 car.
And he will be 29th in the final finishing order. Bobby Hamilton Jr. gave Mike Skinner enough room. Does the responsibility then fall to Skinner to keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack and away from Hamilton?
Yeah, if you want to point the finger, you got to point at Mike. That's kind of the way I look at it. He was racing hard, they're racing for the lead, but you have to respect the leader. I never like to see the leader taken out.
Jimmy Spencer is now that leader as Hamilton hops a ride. Mike Skinner in second. Spencer beats Skinner to the caution flag. Elton Sawyer is third. He's been strong all day. Jimmy Johnson is fourth. Matt Kenseth has at many times been the fastest car on the racetrack. He's fifth.
But Jimmy Spencer, remember on that restart right after they changed tires some 20-something laps ago, we heard that he got a little bit loose on the lower air pressures and his car starting to tighten up. He's going to be tough to pass, DW.
Oh, he is. And, of course, the only guy I think that's got a real shot at him is Kenseth. And he's still got 3 other cars to get around before he gets to Jimmy.
Not only that, but Kenseth is the 5th place car, Darrell, but he's restarting 10th because of the 5 cars on the inside line a lap down. Double file restart. It'll be 17 laps to go when they get to the line under the green flag.
Here we go.
Green flag.
Green, green, green. Go, go, go. Skinner again is getting a great restart. He's got to look underneath. Spencer, this time he's going to try the outside. That's not going to work.
Jimmy Spencer, he's going to stay on the bottom of this racetrack. He'll float that thing down in the corner. It's what he should do, DW. Run the bottom of the racetrack.
And Elton Sawyer, you know, is right there in 3rd place in that old green car that he said he didn't like, but it looks to me like he's running pretty darn good.
Boy, it's coming.
really pulls up on the back of Mike Skinner. This is a battle for second. Remember, Mike Skinner talked about his steering being off. Maybe he's not driving as good as it was.
It looked like it shoved up on that restart there in turn 1, but now it's right around the bottom.
Matt Kenseth right on the back bumper of Jimmy Johnson there for 4th as Spencer gets away.
I tell you, if Spencer gets out there very far, then Kenseth's going to have a tough time catching him.
He'll have 15 laps to do it, but he's got 3 cars between him.
Kenseth loosening up Johnson, who slices down in front of him in turn 1.
Yeah, he's holding him up big time.
Oh, he gets him loose. He's going around.
He's gone.
That's too bad.
And he comes down those self-cleaning bankings, and everyone else gets by on the high side. Caution is out.
Well, I don't like to see this when guys are, getting into guys and turning them around like that. You need to be able to. You need to drive a little more respectful than that.
But that's the second time today we've seen Jimmy Johnson in that 92 get loose with somebody right up underneath him.
Another guy that has trouble closing the deal. He runs good, and I call him Headache Man, and he's going to have another one today.
He has one now. Yep, at both ends of that car.
I just think you got to be a little bit more respectful of the guys in front of you when you're racing as close as they are.
Did they touch? Let's see.
Well, I'm sure they did. He's got a little bit of room around the bottom. It doesn't take hard. The car is so light right there. All it takes is just a little nudge. It doesn't take a bump. You don't have to jam into him. Just a little nudge and around you go. Because you're coming out of there, the back of the car is real light. I told you how it tries to spin the tires. Somebody nudges on the back of that thing and around it goes.
Yeah, he already had him loose. So all you got to do is just right there, just a little bit.
It just really should be a little more respectful, I think. Skinner should have been. I believe that Kenseth should have been as well.
If that bumper was an inch shorter on Matt Kenseth's car, it wouldn't have happened. I mean, it's just right there. That's all it was.
He just opens that bottom up a little bit. Jimmy Johnson does. That gives Kenseth a chance to get the nose down there, but still, Jimmy Johnson had the position. When you hit somebody in the rear like that, that's not a good thing.
From Matt Kenseth's car.
Johnson goes up. He comes back down to protect the bottom, which he should do. And just nudged him a little bit.
Yellow.
If you were down there in that corner right about there, and you just reached out and touched the back of that car, it would do the same thing. That's how light and how loose you are at that point.
Now, behind the accident.
Trouble off at 2. Trouble off at 2.
Jamie McMurray gets the boot as he checks up.
Car's down low.
In front of either Jeff Purvis or Mike McLaughlin.
I got the front of my nose.
That's Purvis.
That's probably Purvis, and that's unfortunate.
That's Purvis. No, that's McLaughlin.
All right, we're here, and it'll be 1 to go when they hit the line. It'll be 12 laps to go, 11 when they get the green flag. It will still be a double file restart. We have to get to 10 to go before it's a single file restart.
This is Jimmy Spencer's 14th Busch Series start at Dover, but only the 3rd race that he has led.
And you have to believe, if he wins this race, why, Larry? Pit strategy.
Pit strategy.
Made that call before the rain came, got in the pits, and got in the lead.
Matt?
Well, Mike, Johnny Allen, the car chief on this #1 car, Jimmy Spencer, they were hoping that the restart would take place before 10 laps to go. That way, there might be a lap car on the inside that might jump in front of Mike Skinner to help block.
Oh, you're exactly right. Because last time Spencer used that lap car as a pick, as happened on the prior restart, and there'll be one there. It'll be Kevin LePage.
And he will jump in there if there's an opportunity.
Yeah.
I can assure you that.
Dick?
Well, Jimmy Johnson's really got problems with his car. They have electric power saws working on both the bow and the stern of his car, ripping the trunk off. That's got to go back on. They've got to have a spoiler on that thing when they take the green flag. What a shame. He had a shot to win this.
Yeah, take 2
now.
and call us in the morning.
Pushing Bobby Jr.'s car back to the garage as well. So 2 cars running in the top 5.
2 Busch regulars.
2 Busch guys get bumped out by a couple of Winston Cup guys.
Mike Skinner in the 21 going to try to stay right with Jimmy Spencer, not letting Kevin LePage up there between them on this restart.
LePage is really riding Jimmy, trying to get a good restart here.
Back under green.
And boy, Skinner gets such a great jump on these restarts. I mean, his car really accelerates up through the gears.
Hilton Sawyer, that green car in 3rd. It's his 23rd Busch race at Dover. He's never led a lap here.
Whoa, Skinner pushed up off of 2 over there and almost hit the fence. That allowed that 98 car to close right up on him.
Sawyer is there.
All over the back bumper, Mike Skinner in that 21. Look at Matt Kenseth in that 17. He's had the fastest race car most of the day. This is a battle for second, third, and fourth.
10 laps to go.
Just depending on how long it takes Kenseth to get by Sawyer here and then get to Skinner is going to determine whether he's got a shot at winning this race or not.
We can see Mike Skinner, he cannot keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack, and I'm sure it's from the front end not being aligned like it should from that wreck while ago when he was involved in it.
Kenseth has a look down low, not close enough to make the pass.
Boy, but that's so distracting to Elton Sawyer, knowing that he's there, spotter saying he's there. Just knowing that if you don't give him a little bit of room and he drops that nose in under you, it can be disastrous.
Boy, Jimmy Spencer, he run 23.86. Nobody else is even in the 23-second bracket.
He smells victory.
But that group has caught Mike Skinner.
Skinner's probably holding these guys up a little bit, or Elton Sawyer's probably holding these guys up a little bit.
Matt Kenseth, he's going to get him off turn 2. Kevin Harvick in that 2, he wants the door open. Every position's important for him.
And here he goes. He should shoot right under him right here.
Comes Steve Park in the 31 car as well. He wants to stay hooked to that rear bumper of Kevin Harvick as they go by, try to go by Elton Sawyer.
Well, these guys are racing so hard, but Jimmy Spencer's already in another time zone. He is out of here. Oh, Spence in the Busch Series. Now, he has become a force, hasn't he? Him and James Spence. And
they've got a 1.5-second lead. 6 to go this time.
I think this is cool, really.
Kevin Harvick, he moves up to 4th in that 2 car.
Ron Hutter builds the motors for that car. I know he builds a mighty strong power plant. And that baby is producing some fire right now. Boy, she is pulling away.
I have to go again here. Use the
Kenseth
horn.
and Skinner battling for second. Neither one of them racing for points.
Well, Spencer isn't either.
Well, right.
But my favorite words, you are pulling away.
Steve Park in the 31. He goes by Elton Sawyer. This is a battle for 5th here. 5 laps to go.
The only car in the top 5 that is racing for points is Harvick in the 2. There goes Kenseth. He takes second place.
He's got over 2 seconds to make up, Mike, to catch Jimmy Spencer with 4 to go. Don't believe it's going to happen.
Not today.
Harvick on the move.
He's on the back bumper. His teammate, Mike Skinner, right here. We just said it. Mike Skinner not racing for points. Every position's important for his teammate, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, he gains 5 points on Biffle and Green for every position he picks up. And Mike Skinner, well, I thought turned the page right there.
You would think that car owner would call and say, that's 5 points. Would you let my man go, please?
Our man.
Our man, yeah. Right. Our teammate. Remember, we're all on the same team together.
Jimmy Spencer over 2 seconds out front of Matt Kenseth. 2 laps to go next time by.
Here's Harvick looking to the inside back here, but he ain't quite going to make it. Come on, Spence.
He's going to get it now, though.
Spencer's 5 most recent starts. Well, here's that battle for 3rd. This time,
he is there this time.
Harvick. He was there, but now he's going to seal the deal.
He's not going to give it to him.
Back inside, you got another one following
It's
him.
a little treacherous up off the 2 side by side, but I think he's going to make it.
Now, this is tough on Skinner. If he'd let Harvick go when he caught him, he might not have to deal with Park, but now he's got to fight them both off.
White flag for Jimmy Spencer, and got us a heck of a race for second place. Whoa! Man, Skinner. Woohoo! He might have passed him, but he's going to pay for it.
Yep, here's Park after him now.
I don't think Skinner liked him. I don't think he liked Harvick passing him. Do you, Larry?
Jimmy Spencer comes off turn 4.
Very good shot
to become the 26th different Busch Series winner at Dover.
Well, what a battle for 4th. Mike Skinner in the 21. He beat Steve Park for that 4th position.
Oh, yeah. I always wanted to win at Dover. I thought you didn't run good at Dover.
Well, that's a happy group, DW. They should be a happy group. You mentioned it 10 laps ago. Mark Reno, Johnny Allen, pit strategy.
Pit strategy. Did you hear what they said? I thought you didn't run good at Dover. Nobody runs good at Dover until they get a good car. That was a good car today.
2 wins in his last 3 starts in the Busch Series for Jimmy Spencer. He won Richmond, was 8th at Charlotte. He won Dover. In fact, every other race. He was 2nd at Talladega. And he's the man today.
I tell you, that team has just really been awesome with him at the wheel. And I continue to say that it's helped Jimmy not only win Busch races, it has helped him in his Winston Cup car.
You can bet that Winston Cup car will get a lot of the addition in this race car.
I won't be able to stay in there long, Mark.
I believe we're going to get Winston Cup practice in, guys.
Well, he won part because he gambled on the rain and came in for tires. There's little Jimmy coming along for the ride. Little Jimmy's kind of one-dimensional there.
Yeah.
And he gained from Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s misfortune. There's his dad, Ed Spencer, running along as well to victory lane.
Took 5 hours and 5 minutes, but he made it.
Yep, there's Ed.
There goes Ed. I tell you, that's a tight family, buddy. They all hang together. Sisters, brothers, moms, dads. You're going to mess with one of them, you're going to have to mess with all of them.
And it's Jimmy Spencer in our MBNA winner's circle.
Just stand back, y'all, down and give him the mic.
Steve Burns is there.
Well, Mike, let's talk to Jimmy Spencer, who wins his 10th career Busch Series race. Jimmy Spencer, how'd you win that one?
I feel bad for Bobby Jr., you know. Him and Mike got to racing real hard there, and they just got together, you know. Our car was a little tight, you know, and after Mike and him bumped each other, I don't believe that, you know, that helped me. That helped me a bunch is what it did. You know, the old Chevrolet could get out, and I could run my own line then. My car was real tight. I got all the air on the nose, and it worked really well, you know. But Hunter engines are strong. Yellow team is strong. We didn't have the best car today, but we had the best strategy.
I heard your crew say, but Jimmy, I thought you said you didn't run good at Dover.
It's true. You know, I won a North race here, but I'm not running good here. And I love this racetrack. I love the fans up here. It's not far from home, less than about 2.5 hours. Come down here and watch Bobby Allison win and so many different winners over the years. And before I was even driving, so it's real special. They've done a lot to this racetrack. I'm starting to like the concrete now, so finally I won. So, but the concrete's tough to get a hold of, and this tire's been awesome for us. The Goodyear tire has been fantastic. And we got a shock combination that we ran last week at Charlotte. It seemed to work good, and we put them on this week.
Congratulations, Jimmy Spencer. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, the 17 car Matt Kent just came home a strong second place. But Matt, you can coulda, woulda, shoulda, but would you have stayed out when we had that red flag?
Well, I mean, we had a great race car today, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. If we would have known somebody 10 miles down the road, we could have called them and they said it wasn't raining, we would have been okay. But we thought it was going to rain, and we stayed out and got ourselves a little bit behind. But then on our pit stop, you know, it wasn't as good as it should have been. And then something hydraulically broke in the clutch and engaged the clutch right before the pit stop was over, and we lost 4 or 5 spots there. And our last run wasn't as good as our run before. So we just had everything go wrong at the end of the race. But Visine guys put together a great machine today. The Kipley motor ran awesome, and you know, I think we had the best car.
Congratulations to Dick.
Mike Skinner finished 4th today. It was almost a win. What happened between you and Hamilton on the racetrack?
I really hate it. I hate it for Bobby. I hate it for this Rockwell team as well. We was a little better on the restarts than Bobby, and we got under him once, and I let him go down there. And then the next time we had a heck of a run coming off 2, and we was up, in my opinion, up beside him, and we just got together. I don't know if he come down or we came up or a little of both or whatever. I really got a lot of respect for Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Sr. They're friends of mine, and I hate that. But I don't think it was our fault. If it was, I'm sorry. If it wasn't, I hate it all the way. It knocked the toe in all out on the Rockwell Chevrolet and took us out of contention to win the race, and I hate that.
Go get him tomorrow. Let's go upstairs.
Jimmy Spencer wins in his 14th start. That's the longest it has taken any Dover Downs winner to get to victory lane. Took Jason Keller 13 races, and he did it. Matt Kenseth second, Kevin Harvick, big gain in the points.
But what a great run for Scott Wimmer. Finishes up 7th, and a good run for David Green.
Oh, yeah,
Struggling
David
this
Green.
year and ends up in
Tony
8th
Raines is a lap down there a little bit ago, finishes 10th.
How about Kelly Denton and Marty Houston? First time here, they end up 16th and 17th.
That's a pretty good day's work for rookies. Here.
Boy, there's a real killer there. 29th, Jeff Green.
That'll hurt you in the points. And we'll look back through the rest of the 43-car field. And let's have a look at the Busch Series point standings. Kevin Harvick moves to the lead. Jeff Green minus 75. Greg Biffle, who finished 9th today, moves up a bit.
It's like a hot potato. You want it. No, I don't want it. You take it.
You take the point lead. All right, Chris Myers, you take it.
All right, thank you. And Jeff Hammond will take it because when I asked him at our pre-race show, hey, was Jeff Green the guy to beat? He said, no, it's been tough on him here in Dover. And actually, Jimmy Spencer, his last 3 Dover races were DNFs, but he comes through, and as you heard him say, starting to like that cement a little bit. He's a likable guy, a big win for the yellow freight car as they celebrate. Here's a guy with only 2 Winston Cup victories in his career. He's been driving Winston Cup since 1990, but his 10th career win in the Busch Series, and he really has found a home, especially lately. He's won 2 of the past 3 Busch races, Jeff, that he's run in.
Well, I think he's got himself in the right situation with James Finch. Those guys are communicating. That's the key to having some successful operations and successful runs, and it's helping his Winston Cup effort. Look for this guy to be a factor before the end of the year.
And, of course, Jim Spencer will start 14th tomorrow in the race you'll see on Fox, and be with us starting in the morning from Dover, Delaware on Fox Sports Net. NASCAR this morning at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and then the MBNA Platinum 400. 12:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Pacific again on our pre-race show. A look at the safety of the Humpy Bumper and Goodyear race tires with Jeff Hammond behind the scenes. NASCAR Victory Lane wraps things up at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, the race tomorrow, you'll see Tony Stewart swept the races in Winston Cup last year, so he is your defending champ. The champ today is Jimmy Spencer, who never forgets and is living in a real dream world. Thanks for hanging with us on FX Baseball Within the Hour. We'll see you tomorrow on Fox.